What's going on, everybody? John here with you alongside Alec Nava. We'll get him here in a second as far as game two of the Major League Baseball World Series. We'll get in the lineups for the Arizona Diamondbacks, head coached by Torey Lovullo. It sounds like this: Ketel, Marte, Corbin, Carroll, Gabriel, Moreno, Christian Walker, Tommy Pham, Lourdes, Gurriel Jr., Alec Thomas, Evan Longoria, and Geraldo Perdomo. And for the Texas Rangers, head coached by Bruce Bochy, it's Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Evan Carter, Luis Garcia, Mitch Garver, and Jonah Heim, Nathaniel Lowe, Josh Young, and Leody Taveras. It's the same lineup as it was in Game 1 side. And Alec, I can present one of two narratives to you as far as what Game 1 was. But what it ended up being was a 6-5 walk-off win for Luis Garcia, and then headlined by a 2-run bomb by Corey Seager. It's a 1-0 lead for the Texas Rangers.
I don't know what to make of last game, but that was a classic. The bad news for the D-backs on that front, it's the first straight road World Series game in which they gave up a game-tying 2-run homer in the ninth, then a walk-off hit in the extra innings, where you date back to games 4 and 5 in 0-1 when they faced off against the Yankees. They won that World Series, but a bit of a troubling trend for the D-backs.
Yeah, it is. And again, I think I'll take this as a glass half full approach. I was wondering where you would go with that one. I'm going to counter on the other side, because if you're the Arizona Diamondbacks, I'll lay it to you like this. You were up 5-3 on that side. It was all the way to 1 out in the bottom of the ninth inning. And look, there was a couple narratives that honestly went throughout that game. As far as, okay, Marcus Semien struck out and Leody Taveras was on first. Yes, you could have walked Corey Seager, but that also would have put you in a situation where you would have had to pitch to Evan Carter or Luis Garcia. And right now, with the amount of weapons that the Rangers have, considering guys are hitting over 300, that's a tough ask.
It is, definitely. So yeah, I'm going to take that same approach as you're going with. Even though that trend may be a bit troubling, it's a daunting task where you have to shut down this entire Rangers lineup, because no matter who you face, they can be bound to strike at any time, as seen with Corey Seager and Luis Garcia, putting up numbers in the World Series that we haven't seen since the Bash brothers with the Oakland A's.
Right. And you have Merrill Kelly on one end now, 12-8, 329 in the regular season, 2-1, 17 innings pitched, 265 this year in the postseason. But before we even get to that, it's going to be Jordan Montgomery on the mound. He was 10-11 in the regular season with a 3.20 ERA. Now in 25 innings, it's a 1.99 ERA. So what's in front of Arizona? I'm not going to go ahead and say a must-win right now, but if you put yourself in a 2-0 series hole, we know how good Jordan Montgomery is. That's definitely going to be difficult.
It is. How he and Evaldi have been.
So first pitch, immediately, Ketel Marte will ground this one to Corey Seager, and it's 1 up, 1 down. Really the only lineup change for Lovullo's squad. You can swap Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll in the 1 and 2 spots. Corbin will be leading up next at second, and they're going to go ahead and put Geraldo Perdomo at the shortstop spot, put Evan Longoria at the third base instead of DH. Kind of the same lineup that we've seen, with the exception of the switch at the top. So we'll see what happens with Corbin Carroll here after the one pitch out from Ketel Marte. Jordan Montgomery wants to look to continue to roll, and this sinker is followed straight back, make it 0-1.
You can put Marte and Carroll over at any of the top 2 spots and interchange between them. You would not be wrong if you were Torey Lovullo.
No, you're not. It's pretty much 1A, 1B in that situation as far as getting everything started. Again, the NLCS MVP Ketel Marte was absolutely on fire in the last game, but so was Luis Garcia. The one thing that Alec and I can tell you this, the hit by pitch that was the other day for Luis Garcia, you kind of just had the feeling next time he came up with the bat he would do something special, and he did that in the 11th inning. It's a 1-1 count against Carroll. Take a sinker outside, make it 2-1.
The other big surprise of how Paul Sewell has been this postseason, you wouldn't expect that he will give up 2 earned runs, the first 2 he has given up in Game 1, because he's been that good. But it's also, as we mentioned again, a tall task to shut down this entire Rangers lineup. So we're going to give Sewell the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I think we have to lean that way too, because again, if I throw this narrative out to you, Alec, and let's say it's another score of 5-3 going into the ninth, and you were able to use Thompson, Ginkel, and Sewald Torey Lovullo would have to feel comfortable with that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would.
So that's what we're thinking on that side. Again, their Diamondbacks played a pretty good game in the last. They had 4 stolen bases. They had a 2-run lead, but it was just a quick strike, and it really was that simple. I'm not going to sit here and say that they outplayed Texas because Texas had the comeback, but that's the game that Arizona wanted to have. They had the lead late, and now we're going to have to see if they can continue to build upon that here in Game 2. They're down 1-0 in the World Series right now. Drawn out alongside Alec Nava between play-by-play and color respectively, but we'll switch off just as we did in the last game. This is grounded. Simeon, we'll have to play this off the hop. He does so nicely. Carroll's out.
Something similar with the defensive play that Simeon did in Game 1. How beautifully made is that defensive play. Even though it doesn't have the flash to it as it did last game, something similar of that notch to it.
Yeah, it is, and you got to go ahead and jump on that really quickly, especially when you have a runner in Carroll's ability. Even Marte's got some speed. It'll leave up Gabriel Moreno now in the third spot. 284 in the regular season with 7 bombs and 50 RBI, but he's been just as good in the postseason as well. Arizona trying not to go 1-2-3, but Montgomery is pretty used to delivering that. It's 1-0 on a sinker.
And Jordan Montgomery, normally he has been good throughout this postseason. If you think back to when we started off, when we covered Game 1 between the Rangers and the Rays, Montgomery delivering 7 shutout innings.
That's a gorgeous changeup on the outside black, make it 1-1. Again, for Gabriel Moreno, they were showing his numbers over the recent at-bats, but 0 for 5, about 4 strikeouts. In the first inning, if you're going to jump on Jordan, it's 675. After that, he settles down with a 145 accordingly later in the game. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case now, though. 2-1.
So far, Gabriel Moreno showing that he could be at his best one of the better at-batters for the D-backs, and with the anti-coordination that he possesses in this sequence, it's certainly looking that way.
Yeah, he looks pretty smooth when he's up at the dish, and you also have a catcher that can hit that way. Again, that's not all that common, especially you get beat up so much when you're behind the plate. Again, he's a young guy, but if you have a hitter of that caliber who can also be your everyday backstop, that's a pretty good combination for the Diamondbacks. 3-1. We'll see what Moreno does here. Takes a big swing, but this is followed down the left field line. It's a full count.
You know, me thinking of how Moreno and Jonah Heim are basically mirror images of each other, of how they've been good at the catching plate and also excelling offensively.
Yeah, again, that's a really good combination. You have 2 of the better hitting catchers, both in the World Series at the same time. It usually doesn't happen. Moreno, with another opportunity, falls straight back to the screen.
Even though Moreno, he's so far, he's having a nice at-bat sequence where he's going to make this a full count there. Paying attention to what ball is being thrown his way.
Full count for the third time as the towels continue to wave here in Arlington, Texas. And Moreno is going to sky underneath this one. Question of who wants it. Simeon going to call off everybody and make the catch. And the Diamondbacks go 1-2-3 in the first.
So I know Simeon has been struggling at the plate, but he's still providing his defensive value.
Yes.
No matter if it is with those tough throws that he makes as seen last time around or that beautiful Game 1 throw. But that time, he saw this one all the way. The good thing is, no sun glare for him to obstruct his sight. Because I was driving to have dinner previously today, and boy, that sun glare when I was driving southwestward was terrible.
Oh, when you get the evening side for that, regardless of summer, fall, anything else like that, it really is. You better have your glasses and a visor on.
Oh, a good thing my glasses don't come with shades that they can change the tint depending on how the sun is where and if there's going to be cloudy or anything like that.
On both of these sides, we're dealing with the dome, so we're not going to have to worry about any weather-related situations. We do know after Game 2, we'll be off until the Monday side. For Games 3, 4, and 5, will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We will cover Games 3 and Game 4 alongside Alec Nava, and then we'll figure out after that, should this series be extended. When we get to the bottom of the first, it'll be Simeon, Seager, and Carter. Again, I was going to go ahead just like as we did through the NBA and NHL scoreboard at some point, and I looked across, and I'm not surprised, but it was a big matchup between the Red Wings and the Bruins, and so far the Bruins are feeding the Red Wings their lunch. It's 2-0.
I sometimes I wonder, because this has been an awkward first month in the NHL of how many notable players are getting healthy scratched. The big one that baffles us both, Ken Johnson, he's still in the Columbus lineup now, but the decision to healthy scratch him made absolutely no sense.
That's the second time you've already told me that in the span of a couple different games, and I'm really starting to wonder. Again, this is just out loud. If there's something going on in the locker room for a reason to scratch somebody of his caliber.
I wonder because he's one of their best guys, so he has to be on the lineup, and he would normally be. But I wonder what happened over in the locker room for him to get scratched.
Yeah, that's definitely a concerning situation. Again, when we were covering one of the games, looking at the score yesterday, I thought the Kings were for sure going to get a big win, or not get a big win against Arizona. I thought Arizona would win. The Kings came back, and now their Kings opponent are the Golden Knights, so it'd be 10:30 Eastern.
Yeah, I wonder about that game, how it went, because last we checked was 4-1 Coyotes.
Yes.
All of a sudden, here come the Kings, and they flexed their crown.
Yeah, they did. They looked pretty good in that comeback opportunity. But Drew Doughty, he had a good quote at the end of the game. I saw in the post game. He said, "If we play that way against the Vegas Golden Knights, we're going to lose pretty easily." So Merrill Kelly, cutter, four-seam changeup, two-seam slider, curveball. Usually don't see that amount of pitches being used, but dare I say it, this is a big outing for Merrill here, Alec. And again, he's going to have to shut down this tough Texas lineup. But according to his last couple starts, he seems like he could be up to the task.
So far, so good for Merrill Kelly. We can excuse Game 2 against the Phillies aside because that wasn't Merrill Kelly at his best. But Game 6 was a showing of what he can be as a high-end number 2 pitcher.
So Simeon already quickly up against it. And a slider at 86 will go on the outside of the plate. Again, it's worth bringing up the numbers for Marcus Simeon. I do that in the regular season sometimes, but 276, 29 bombs, and 100 RBI. He looks like a shadow of himself in the playoffs right now. But again, it's not talked about as much, and it doesn't need to be because the rest of this team is definitely percolating on every single aspect. So when you have that kind of depth in the lineup to pick you up, it's kind of one of those that gets turned on the wayside as far as a storyline. The 2-2 is just fouled off on a changeup.
Of how electric this Rangers lineup has been, and with Marcus Simeon batting the way he has been this postseason, even though he's struggling, they don't need him to come up as big because the rest of this lineup has been coming up in bunches between Seager, Garcia, Heim, Taveras, everyone.
Yeah, and it's a luxury to have. Again, we talked about some of the situations with the Diamondbacks, and there's a lot of controversy, not controversy, but dialogue on Christian Walker as far as how much he's struggling. And again, that's brought up more because Diamondbacks really need him. Besides Marte and Carroll at times, you're wondering what's going on. And Simeon, you can really tell he's struggling there because he swung on a slider that was nowhere close.
And that time, it was nowhere even close. Yeah, and I were to tell you that if you were to outstretch it just a tad bit, it would just graze out the tip of the bat, and that ball had no chance of being hit out.
So Kelly 7 pitch at bat against Simeon. Now he's got to go up against one of the primo men here for Corey Seager with a 2-run shot in the bottom of the ninth. And again, that sent this into extra innings. And then Adolis Garcia also played hero. 327, 4 bombs, 8 RBI, and an OPS of almost 1,200. That's just postseason numbers. And a changeup. Good job for Kelly to get him to get underneath it. And this will be played by Perdomo. 2 up, 2 down.
So it's not easy to shut down this lineup, but so far it appears that's what Merrill Kelly's been doing. He's finding his stride here, picking up where he left off in Game 6 against the Phillies. The difference here is this Rangers lineup has been more consistent than the Phillies lineup, if we're being honest.
Yeah, we can argue, honestly, they've been the most consistent lineup in the postseason, correct?
Yeah, they've been.
Evan Carter, 9 extra base hits in the postseason alone, if you can believe that, from the 21-year-old out of Tennessee. 0-1, 4-seam fastball, and will split the plate. Again, for Evan Carter, again, as Alec and I talked about in the really small portion of the pregame, in the sense of you couldn't really walk Corey Seager because you'd have to deal with Evan Carter, who's hitting well over 300, just like he did in the regular season in his brief call-up. In just about 23 games, he had 306, so he's still carrying all that now. So the bright lights don't seem to bother this young man. 1-1, as Kelly will get set to deliver his 12th pitch. He's trying to get through an efficient first inning so far. This one up on the hands, and Carter will stay alive, 1-2.
It's amazing about Evan Carter's story because he wasn't even considered as one of the top 200 prospects entering his draft year. To have him come up like this is outstanding development for him.
It really is, Alec, and it also speaks to surprise to me because we talk about how hard scouting is in any sport. For him to not be in a top 200 side, that seems like a complete mistake.
Feels like it's
1-2. That is dotted on a cutter, and a great inning for Merrill Kelly as he punches out Carter.
so far so good for Jordan Montgomery and Merrill Kelly. I had the feeling that this may be some sort of a pitcher's duel, though easier said than done because Nathan Eovaldi and Zach Gallen, even though it wasn't quality outings, they still had solid nights for how they were.
Yeah, they were. Especially, I was impressed with Zach Gallen, able to fight almost 100 pitches, only giving up 4 runs. It looked like he was going to be up against it. He kind of buckled down. Evaldi wasn't terrible, but he did give up 5 runs. But what really impressed me, Alec, was in the game one side, the back end of Texas's bullpen. Again, he didn't have to use Spores or Chapman, and Leclerc came out for 2, but it was nothing but zeros when the bullpen was called.
Between Dane Dunning and everyone there, Dunning, John Gray, Cody Bradford, and Will Smith, a name that has been really catching my attention because just remember, if you follow the Rangers during the regular season, they had more blown saves than actual saves in the regular season. 33 to 30 in that category. And the bullpen, they've come up and really have turned it on during this postseason, bringing down their ERA from 4.77 to 3.72 entering the World Series. That number went as low as 186 after Game 1 against the Astros.
That is getting it done on a side that you really didn't think that was going to happen at times. It seemed like the collapse that was happening in the regular season would spread its way into the postseason. But to their credit, Texas Rangers bullpen's been able to get it done, and that lineup's continued to roll. So that's why, from the very beginning, people were picking Texas, and for good reason, because I really don't think there's any way to slow down this lineup. But if Arizona can play the way they did in Game 1 and get a lead, we'll see what happens. They did ask Jose Leclerc in the post game after throwing 2 innings if he's going to be ready to pitch tonight. He said yes, 100%.
So far, so good with him getting the full-time closing duties after Will Smith struggles. That's a little fun with the name Will Smith because there is a pitcher, there is a catcher, and an actor. All of them walk into a bar. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, somebody's going to get slapped up.
Oh, God. Don't remind me of this. Oh, God. Why, Chris Rock?
So, Alec's going to take the top of the second. He's going to take the second inning, and then we'll switch off each inning.
Immediately, perfect delivery for Montgomery on his 15th throw to Christian Walker, who batted .258 in the regular season. But his struggles in the postseason, well documented. He's batting .163, just like that, in 0-1 count. Finally, we get a pitch count clock on the Fox broadcast as Walker, he's going to ground it over to the left. Sager will take care of things, and 4 outs already for the D-backs. So 0 for 4 already for these D-backs batters.
Yeah, we're going to have to continue to talk about that, Alec, as far as if Christian Walker continues to struggle, does Arizona have a shot in the series?
And speaking of having a shot, I want to bring up someone, Frank Vetrano. Even strength goal, power play goal, short-handed goal.
Oh, man.
7-4.
That is better than a Gordie Howe hat trick as far as I'm concerned.
It's a goal assist and a win a fight. But Toronto, he's got the goal scorer's hat trick. That's what I would be calling this as Tommy Pham. Takes one, bottom line, another perfect delivery for Montgomery. So 0-1 just like that. Here's the second one. And this is going to ground over to Josh Jung. He rushes into it. The quick throw. It's not on time. Pham reaches to first safely on an infield
Well, do it any way you can if you're Tommy Pham right now. Arizona needs base runners, and Jordan Montgomery's in a little bit of a group, so good job, beat that one out.
And Josh jumped this ball was moving slowly, but just slow enough for the throw to not be on time from John. And by the time he picked it up, he tried to make the desperation throw, but it wasn't even close to being on time. Now here's Lourdes Gurriel, the first throw by Montgomery, and Can these throws get any more perfect than that for Montgomery? It's another bottom line strike.
You're going to tell me both of these pitchers are going to be locked in. This should be fun in game 2.
And do remember, there is a double play that is in play. So if there is no double play, then we will have Alec up next. And here we go. Here's a double play opportunity. And 2 down and 3 down to go with that. Tick, tack, toe. The D-backs have the first hit, but we remain scoreless.
Well, Alec, we saw the game plan then early so far, just like it was a little bit from the game 1 started for Texas. You want to be able to attack early against Nathan Eovaldi. They wanted to do it against Montgomery, but that was tailor-made, an easy flip from Simeon and Seager.
And everyone has been locked in between Corey Seager, Marcus Simeon, and Emmanuel Rivera over the defensive side. I know Josh Jung, he did all he could in throwing that ball over to Lourdes, the first base side, but that was a well-hit ball by Tommy Pham. Slow ground ball in which it was picked up late, and Pham made sure of that.
If I'm Merrill Kelly, Alec, I got to get back on the mound. I barely had time to sip some Gatorade.
Yeah, I mean, you barely had time to sip Gatorade just like that. You have to get back there quickly.
So let's go ahead again, look through the NHL score. But I was watching this one that started a little bit earlier as far as the Kraken and the Panthers. That seemed like that could be a pretty good matchup. We'll see what the goal scorers are. So it's back-to-back goals for both teams. It started with the Kraken and Jared McCann, their 40 goal scorer from last year, and Ollie Tolvanen from Jaden Schwartz and Will Borgen. But it was Gustav Forsling and Matthew Tkachuk, both with their first of the year on the power play and even strength, respectively. It's a 2-2 game. Big Bob stopped 22 of 24. And on the other side, Joey Decord with yet another start and some good numbers. He stopped 29 on the 31.
I wonder what's up with hockey these days, because in back-to-back days, I've been hearing about players taking skates up to somewhere in the body part. You seen that picture of Jacob Walco? Oh my goodness, I'm glad that he's all right, because that could have been ugly, could have been blinded on his left eye.
Oh, man, I'm glad I did not see that. But after this one, I'm going to go ahead and see the picture because, yeah, anytime you get a skate up in that situation, I mean, look what happened with the Winnipeg Jets last year. Wasn't it Morgan Barron that got slashed all over against the Vegas Golden Knights and had all those stitches?
Yeah, 75 of them, and he came back to play the rest of the game?
He did. I couldn't believe it.
I wonder what's happening. We may have a goal update between. We want to speak on Winnipeg. They're up against Montreal. The Avs have scored to answer right back. Sean Monahan on the man advantage right after, and that was after Justin Barron scored in the first period. They're in the second period now. Monahan on the man advantage. Adam Lowry and Neil Niederreiter scored 18 seconds apart in the opening minute of the second period. The other goal from Lowry on a penalty shot.
And I am wondering, as we said with the Bruins, and then I also think about the Toronto Maple Leafs, who's going to have the advantage in that Atlantic Division? So far, it's the Bruins early, but I wonder if that hot start is going to cool off a little bit. As far as the Maple Leafs, I see it's a 1-1 game between the Preds.
Yeah, we don't know who the Bruins truly are, even when they had that overtime loss to the Ducks, just as Garcia takes an 0-1, and then Garcia's going to ground this right over to Emmanuel Rivera, and he's not even going to reach a base. So that'll make it 1 out, 2 more to go for the D-backs here in the bottom of the second.
Well, we'll see with Kelly here if he can be as efficient as Jordan Montgomery was in the second inning, but that was pretty spectacular with the double play. We'll see what Kelly's got.
We'll see what Kelly has got here. The same way we'll see that the Bruins have got, because the mass shakeup over the offensive core up in B-Town. Here's the first pitch to Mitch Garver, who doesn't even swing at it. This goes over to the bottom left. He's batting .270 in the postseason. But in game one, he was 0 for 3. A rare outing for Mitch Garver because he's usually been electric. And he swings and misses. Same placement. He tried that one on the slider, 86. So right decision. Just the timing was a little off.
You know, a power hitter like Garver, it's tough when Kelly's moving that ball all the way around like that.
It's tough. But that time he read the ball perfectly as this was going to the left of the zone. His right in his instance because he is watching Kelly throw. So now it's 1-2. Merrill Kelly already throwing 18 times. The 1-2. And this is Sky, but this is not even going to get anywhere to the outfield. This stays onto the dirt, and Longoria will take care of business for a second straight time.
So both these pitchers right now, they found their groove between Montgomery and Kelly. We'll see if Kelly can finish off this second scoreless.
And so far, it's been a pitcher's duel, just like we both were thinking of when we see the names Kelly and Montgomery on the mound, because those are two of the better pitchers. And Kelly, who's 35 years old, native of Houston, Texas, fourth most popular city in the U.S. as he delivers a first pitch bomb over to right center, but this is not going to get enough gas to go to the stands. Taken care of by Alec Thomas, and boom. Indeed, it is a pitcher's duel. 0-0 is our current scoreline, still after 2.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say, holy cow. As far as Jordan Montgomery, what we saw, I was really wondering if Merrill Kelly was going to pretty much go tit for tat, and he did. So both of these pitchers underneath 20 pitches as we go to the third inning scoreless. My goodness.
It's going to remind me of how Montgomery went up with Justin Verlander in game 1 of the ALCS. I've been wishing that game 7 was more competitive than what we saw, but this is as beautiful as it can get. This is what peak postseason baseball is about.
I want to ask this question, but honestly, it's going to be tough to answer because with Montgomery and Kelly looking as good as they do, maybe it's a push. But if you're Arizona and you see Merrill Kelly on the mound get through the first 6 outs so easily, does that give you a little bit of hope?
It gives a little bit of hope of how Arizona has been playing. And they want to play their style of game. Remember, stolen bases aplenty. They had 4 of them in game 1. Even though it was a losing effort, this gives a little light at the end of the tunnel for them to see at.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. You have to go ahead and build on that because we know what Montgomery can do. We know what the lineup is for Texas. Don't need to speak on that all the time. But for Merrill Kelly, again, he's one of those guys in the regular season. Have pretty decent numbers, but in the postseason, that's a heck of a lot better within the 17 innings pitched so far at 265. He can continue to shut this down, at least for me. I know it's a couple days away, but it doesn't leave as much pressure for Brandon Pham.
Doesn't, especially with how he played in game 7 against the Phillies, and thought he has been lights out during the postseason after he turned things around from what he did in the regular season.
So we will see if that continues. We will also give you some updates as far as all the other sports across the board, just as we did. We're going to be here through the Game 4 side. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the NBA scoreboard and see if there's anything else that catches my eye today. I saw that the Pistons have to play back-to-back games, see if they can get one against the Bulls. They get their home opener today. They're up 66-59.
And back-to-back games for both Detroit and Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
As we think of rivalries between NBA, NFL, and NHL, between the Bears and Lions, Pistons and Bulls. You all know about Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan and the fiasco between them. NHL side, 2 original 6 franchises. Last they met, the Red Wings were in the West.
Yeah, I miss those days, Alec. Again, I'm old on that side. I remember that in the Western Conference, but that's something that's never going to go that way anymore. Again, I'm used to the home whites. It's the home reds. Another thing that surprises me, this is a halftime score officially. The Grizzlies are down 62-46 to the Wizards.
How does that happen on the Grizzlies' backcourt? I don't know how.
So it's the Jordan Poole experience, correct, for the Wizards, but that's pretty much it on that side. They really have to get that win. So we're back underneath it now. Again, Alec Vision is a little bit ahead of me, so we'll continue to switch off. This is a crush for Alec Thomas, and that's 2 hits for the Diamondbacks. He's at first.
Alec Vision catching Alec Thomas on another clutch hit.
Alec Thomas, again, he's been pretty impressive from the spots that I've seen him in. Again, I know you mentioned it, he mentioned it when he joined us in about how clutch he can be. But I like him in this lineup. I like him in that 7 spot because you bring the speed. He does have a little bit of power, and I think he needs to be a mainstay.
He has to be. With how clutch he has been, and for his ability to time those really well, and the times when he times those correctly, there's another one.
So Evan Longoria, we go back to Torey Lovullo's Arizona Diamondbacks type baseball. Longoria not afraid to sacrifice himself. That moves Alec Thomas to second.
Something that Gerardo Perdomo has been used to seeing, and we'll get to him next. Longoria taking a page out of the Perdomo playbook and sack punting to move Thomas from first to second to give the Rangers not enough time to throw to second base. That could have been close, though.
It could have. And Perdomo, from what we talked about, as he takes a strike. Again, the regular season numbers are still pretty good. 246, 282 in the postseason, though. 2 bombs, 3 RBI, and an OPS at 800. So for a 9-hitter, he's not a normal 9-hitter, but he does have some speed. He's got some power as well. We'll see what he can do against Montgomery, who's really good at shutting down runs. And Perdomo was going to fake the bunt again, but he took another strike.
I know you have the right idea of faking the bunt, but then if this is being thrown right down for the middle, you got to bunt that pitch, especially when you have this one go right down to the zone.
So Montgomery going to be 25 throws into his day with 2 1/3 innings pitched already. This is high. They might have thought something was on with Alec Thomas in second, but it'll step back off. It's 1 and 2.
You'd think that something would happen, but with the way the D-backs have been playing throughout these 2 games, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I'll applaud them for that.
Yeah, there is. They've been able to manufacture runs with these. It's just about locking it down when they get to that key situation. Turn and throw, and Alec Thomas does get back. So you get one more of those disengagements if you're Jordan Montgomery as Thomas gets back in. Should we get to the top of the order again? Most likely it'll be Ketel Marte. It's 1 out. Top of the 3rd, we are scoreless. John on here alongside Alec Nava. We're in Arlington, Texas at Globe Life Field, Game 2 of the World Series. Thomas has a pretty big lead off of second right now, as this pitch is put in through the hole, diving play, and this is a good job for Seager to get the throw over to Lowe, but it does get the run at the 3rd.
So even though it moves Alec Thomas, Perdomo sacrificed himself to move Thomas between bases, and that's a good job from Perdomo to get him to scoring position, though. And nice work there for the Rangers. Even though Josh Jung dived at it and missed him, Corey Seager has his back.
So we talked about this to the Rangers lineup, about how everybody's dangerous. Well, at this point, if you walked Ketel Marte, you'd still have to face Corbin Carroll. So the most dangerous hitters in the lineup, 1 and 2. They're up to the dish right now with 2 outs and Ketel Marte. See how Jordan Montgomery works through this. And Alec, he's pounding the strike zone consistently, 0-1.
And we speak of pounding. Jordan Montgomery has made a living out of that throughout this season.
He's efficient. He finds his zone with all 5 different kinds of pitches. Again, even in a Game 7 side, when he's asked to pitch 2 1/3 innings of relief, he did so quite well as he takes it 1-1 now.
We do have a scoring update. Nick Cousins for the Panthers. It is 3-2. They've scored 3 unanswered. This one on even strength. Assist from Josh Mahura and Dmitry Kulikov.
So the Panthers take the lead on the Kraken. It's 1-1 in our game. Popped up in the air. And Montgomery has got the job done as Tavares underneath it. And we go to the bottom 3, scoreless.
Still, the scoreless outing continues. A job well done by both pitchers in limiting these batters, especially for Marte, who is having 17 games entering this game where he has recorded hits for Marte.
Yeah, he's been exceptional on that side, the NLCS MVP. Let's circle back to a hockey final, the one that's gone final. Anaheim Ducks, they've won a few games in a row, and this is a good win. I know Philadelphia, they started hot. I don't expect it to stay that way, but the Ducks put up 7. They win 7-4.
I know the Ducks, they've been a team that can be full of surprises, and I feel that they make the most of their wins. When it comes to overtime, they've been capitalizing every time they went through overtime, or most nights, and they won their first 2 overtime games. Those were the previous 2 games against Columbus and Boston. That win against Boston was something special, especially when they came into the final 2 minutes of regulation down by 2 goals. They forced overtime, and then the World Juniors here, Mason McTavish, comes up big there, and for them to come out in Philadelphia, just score a touchdown and extra points. Could we see something from the Ducks this year? I don't expect it to make the playoffs, but they could be a little more competitive this year as opposed to Dallas Aikens era.
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to me, like the Arizona Coyotes. It's a team that you can't take lightly who can beat you, but I think we'll still miss out on the playoffs.
And we just don't expect the other teams to take the Ducks lightly because the new head coach, Greg Cronin, and with them emphasizing defensive responsibilities, they want to emphasize on that between Cam Bauer, Jackson Lacombe, who we saw with the U of Minnesota previously, Pavel Mintyukov, defensive prospect, Radko Gudas being brought in from Florida. So we could see increased defensive responsibilities on that front.
Yeah, I think Pat Verbeek, the GM, has done a good job so far. We know it's going to take time for Anaheim in the full rebuild. The Ryan Getzlav, Corey Pera era for the Stanley Cup is long, long over. So now it's time to build. At least the one good thing for the Ducks, not only did they get the win, but Trevor Zegras scored his first of the season on the power play. That's a hockey player that they need to get going.
And he needs services right here, right now. But I would expect that their leading goal scorer would be Frank Petrano. He already has 8.
That is crazy. Again, the hat trick is what definitely gets your totals up there. I wouldn't have expected that number. Again, I'll get back to this in a moment. But I do want to give a shout out for Cam Atkinson and Sean Couturier. Good to see them back in the lineup, and they're both playing really well. As Merrill Kelly delivers the fastball outside, make it 1-0.
About Cam Atkinson and Sean Couturier have missed at least all of last year, and Couturier has not played for 21 months. Even though I may not like the Flyers, me being myself a Penguins fan,
Right.
I like to give a pat on the back for Couturier and Atkinson on their tremendous comebacks.
Yeah, you just want to see everybody playing well and being healthy, regardless of the way you feel about them. I'm kind of in the same boat with some of the other teams in the Eastern Conference when I think about the Red Wings rivals. But Pittsburgh on Pittsburgh, I definitely can understand that. Between Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh, we're going to look at that scoring update when we get an opportunity in a moment too. Nathaniel Lowe is in the driver's seat, 2-1. It's a scoreless game. Merrill Kelly on the mound. 2-1 pitch, and Lowe will follow it straight back on a four-seamer, make it 2-2.
So Lowe is one of those batters who is hot or cold. When he is cold, he's cold. But when he's hot, he is hot.
That's certainly one of those times when you think about an NBA scorer who could turn it on, a little bit of a microwave badge. That's what Nathaniel Lowe can be. I always thought of that as one of my favorite players in the NBA for a long time. Jamal Crawford, you can have those hot and cold games and cross you over. Nathaniel Lowe gets hot. He starts turning singles into home runs. I think that's a good call. 208 in the postseason, but we know that he can definitely do more. We're looking at Adolis Garcia with a camera shot on Fox Sports, and that's always a good call, as it's 2-2. Another good change up there, but it still remains the same count.
And a good look at Garcia because he's entering this game with a 5-game home run streak. That's the second longest in the postseason.
It's hard to believe that there is any streaks that are longer than that because, wow, what a pitch for Kelly. I'm going to say Garcia has been absolutely ridiculous. That's a good pitch for Kelly, though, in a fastball. It just froze up low.
Yeah, that's a really good throw by Kelly. And showing what he is made of already with 3 strikeouts, punching out Lowe. And Lowe didn't even take a chance at that one.
Well, this impresses me so far with Merrill Kelly. As we said, the regular season numbers can be good to so-so. But we're going through the World Baseball Classic starter. Again, he wasn't the winner against Japan, but we did have the epic Mike Trout versus Shohei Ohtani at the end of it. But 2 1/3, no hits, 3 strikeouts so far against his vaunted Texas Rangers lineup. Again, that's very damn impressive no matter how you slice it. 0-1 for Jung. We'll take it outside on the cutter, 1-1.
I thought that first throw was a little friendly call on Kelly's side because even though that it was ruled a strike, it looked to be below the zone by several inches.
See a couple old Arizona Diamondbacks logos, and whatever kids have those seats, they're wearing banana costumes behind us. It's almost Halloween, so we might see some costumes and also some old Diamondbacks logos. I like those too, the purple A's. As this one is skied left field side, it goes foul. My goodness.
It looked like it had the juice there, but not far enough, and it was just to the left. And it went in and out of the stands, right back to the field of play. I wonder if someone's going to throw that ball back to the stands for someone to take home.
Sometimes you see that happen when there's definitely home runs in the opposite ballpark. You throw them back. Right now we're in Arlington, Texas. The happy fans will be keeping those. 2-2 against Young, and then it'll be Leody Tavares as this one is down on a changeup. The count is full.
I know we may get into the groove of NHL stuff here and then, but the Iowa Senators up 3-0 on the Penguins. If we speak on hot and cold, these two teams are hot and cold.
I want to get into that box score when we get a moment. As Perdomo will get this nicely off the hop, make the toss over to Walker. That's easy. 2 outs.
It's just as simple as that for Geraldo Perdomo. Between him and Corey Seager, they're playing like two of the best shortstops in the league today.
I threw this question out on the YouTube side. Again, we're going to get some votes and go across, and I'll revisit it. I said, if Texas wins and takes a 2-0 series lead, do you believe Arizona can still win the World Series? That's the question for today. Alec and I will leave our thoughts on that in a little bit. 92 sinker will hit the inside, 0-1 against Tavares.
Now, I know if the D-backs go down 2-0, it's still within reach. Remember, they came back from a 2-0 series deficit on the Phillies, so anything is possible. 3-0 may be a daunting task because only one team has ever successfully came back from down 3-0 in the MLB. The 0-4 Red Sox against the Yankees.
Again, they do have Derek Jeter in the postgame side with David Ortiz, so it is funny when they always talk about the 0-4 side, and Derek just says, I don't want to talk about it anymore. 0-2 pitch against Leody. And he swings and misses. Merrill Kelly, how about it? Nothing given up to the first 9 outs.
Feels like one of those types of games where we can see it can be as scoreless as it can get for as many innings as possible until we finally see a run. It's looking to be that type of game. We previously saw that between the Rangers and Astros in the Game 1 side of the ALCS.
Yes, and I want to go back to the score that you just mentioned on the hockey side. 2 teams with a record that I thought would probably be a little bit better. They're both identical, 3-4. I want to just go ahead and see what the scoring looks like. And one of the names that needed to be on this sheet definitely is. Again, I'll pass on Ridley Grigg and Brady Tkachuk, but Dominic Kubalik got his first of the year. Remember, Dominic Kubalik is a 25 goal scorer, 25 to 30 goal scorer from the Blackhawks. It was the Red Wings trade from Alex DeBrincat. They badly needed him to get on the score sheet, and he did.
I want to know what's going on with the Penguins system because at times I feel it feels like it's a system that is benefiting the top 6 most of the time. Other times I wonder what is going on up there. But for the Senators to get Dominic Kubalik on the scoreboard is a sign of progress that they need to get him rolling. And I mean rolling because he can be hot, but he can also be cold at the same time. They need him to be his rookie self. Remember, he had 30 goals in his rookie year.
I do want to make a mention of what you talked about just with the Penguins. I'm looking at the back end defense in Ruedel and Shea, but I see Radim Zahorna. I see some other names in there for secondary goal scoring that I just don't know if the Penguins have right now. Am I wrong?
It feels like it because it seems that on the bottom six, the only guy that I can think of that can provide an offensive boost at this current stage in his career would be Noah Chari. He's on the fourth line. Everyone else, Matt Nieto, I'm 50-50 on. Lourdes, that goal scoring ability might be diminished by now. Drew O'Connor may need to up this game a tick. Redeems or Horna, not your typical third liner. And Jeff Carter, sometimes I wonder why he's on the lineup because he is 39 years old, soon to be, and he's clearly being a shell of what he once was.
And I don't believe, Alec, there's a lot of cap space to rectify the situation.
Yeah, I don't believe so either because now you get to a situation where you may think of buying out Jeff Carter just as Corbin Kelly's going to pop it up. So we're here in the fourth inning, and that's going to be a run over to the outfield for Corey Seager, and with an over-the-head catch, backhanded to start off this fourth inning.
Well, the Rangers' defense never stops impressing, do they, my friend?
And they never stop impressing. Well, when you believe it, the thing was just scored. It's Sidney Crosby.
Well, we were just speaking about them, so hopefully trying to give them some good luck and give Sid the kid some vibes.
Sid the 36-year-old kid.
Yes.
Now here's Gabriel Moreno, who is back onto the plate for the second time, and his curveball just went towards the dirt. So 1-0 just like that. And we look at these two bullpens, you may think, after comparison, game one, you think advantage D-backs, but it wasn't there. 5 strikeouts for them, 6 walks. The Rangers goalkeepers didn't even walk a single batter in game one.
It's incredibly impressive, Alec. Nobody would have thought that.
Yeah, nobody would have. Just as Montgomery perfectly placed it in the left line, 1-1. So that is the most recent throw. Pitch clock at 2. There's the delivery. And this is fouled onto the ground. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out.
Again, the way that this game is being played, it seems like both of these starters might go more than 6. That would be nice to see.
Yeah, we've seen this between Montgomery and Verlander in game 1, and I may need to bring up this matchup as many times as possible because that was the definition of pitching matchup. Here's the 1-2, and Moreno had to jump out the way at that one. He slid his stomach right behind on that ball. He thought it was coming near him. Now it's 2-2. Still we're waiting on the 2-2 count, and Montgomery just got it off, and Moreno's gonna just ground this to the left, so he's gonna stay at the plate.
Able to stay alive as Moreno. He's had a pretty good at bat considering both times.
And he's had some really good at bats, knowing which pitch is which. But still, was a 2-2 count. The pitch clock at 3, and the delivery. Another 2-2, and this one went low. And it may have ran out for a moment there. Fox Sports put up the new pitch clock counter recently because TBS, TNT, they have that. Now it's time for Fox to do the same. Now full count. After that curveball, we'll see what the end result here. It is 3-2 with 1 out.
Looks like we've seen a couple camera shots of Jonah Heim. He's got an itinerary on his arm. Looks like color-coordinated sheets.
It feels like it. Once again, we have another foul ball. And so this at-bat goes for a little longer. For the 8th pitch of this sequence, they'll bring Montgomery's total to 38 here in this 4th inning. Clock at 1. And this is Sky over the left field. Will this go the distance? Yes! Gabby Moreno with the opening run. Arizona with the snakes on the grass, treading on Texas's home grass.
That's incredible, Alec. Again, from the first at-bat, he was able to stay with it, draw the pitch count. This time he does the same thing in his second, and he gets past Jordan Montgomery with an absolute blast in the left center field.
An absolute rocket. and a long shot of a cannon and on over to left center field. We've noted about how the outfield markers, they have a piece of Rangers history, but I wonder if this is going to be the type of history that the Rangers do not want to be on. Now here's Christian Walker, and an amazing dive by Josh Jung, and Carroll! Holy mackerel, Josh Jung, are you kidding me? Toe tapping along the left foul line to secure it, and the throw to Emmanuel Rivera. What a beauty!
I can't wait to see this one. Alec Vision has got me tempted to see what we'll find with Christian Walker. Man, that was scolded with a dive on the left field side and just off a half a step. What a throw. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I can't believe what we're seeing here, John. This is absolutely magical.
This World Series has been fantastic so far.
And speaking of fantastic, here's Tommy Pham. Wham! A double! As this drives right down for the right field line. The man says, take your diving, outplaying, first pitch out, and shove it to Josh Jung.
Well, it's good to see for the Diamondbacks. Again, you get a defensive play like that, you might get stars in your eyes. Tommy Pham concentrated on the baseball, takes it the other way from the outside, and gets a double. That's a great at-bat.
I want to say wham-a-homa because that is the famous Bugs Bunny line in that one baseball episode, Looney Tunes. Missed opportunity for me to say that in game one, but here comes Lourdes Gurriel. Already 40 throws for Jordan Montgomery. Here's 41. Breaking ball goes down at 92. Nice sinker there, but nonetheless it's a 1-0. The long run scored was a Gabriel home run, 4-13 to left center. Montgomery surveys. Now he delivers for 1 second. And this is skied over to the left field. He's going to get in. Tommy Pham. And the pickup attempt for Gurriel is safe as he goes back to first. Could have ran himself into trouble as he tried to go to second base. But nonetheless, 2 runs for Arizona.
Well, look, now the Arizona Diamondbacks are starting to come through here. They had the lead just like they did in game 1. Now the question is, can they hold it?
That is the big question of importance. Just remember, 2-run lead in game 1. But you think that this lineup for the Rangers, they be due to break out any time here. And a really nice outing here for the Diamondbacks here in these 2 games. And for how they played in game 1, even though they lost, by no fault their own.
No. They played a really good game in game 1, Alec. They just got bit at the last inning.
I mean, that last inning, by way of, I know you guys see it with that solo shot. And if there was anyone to win that game, you would think that between him and Corey Seager, those are the first 2 names that come to mind.
Yes, absolutely.
First throw, a curve low at 77, but Alec Thomas gets a friendly call. It looked like it could have been a strike, but Thomas got a ball as this went to low line. Friendly call.
Looks like Montgomery, when he does give up a run, it's usually multiple, but then shuts it down. So it's important that he locks down here.
It's very important. And now here's the call that Montgomery was looking for. Fit that onto the bottom right line. And this time, Thomas gets called for a strike, 89 to sinker. And much of the talk has been about the consistency of the officiating. Let's see which side of the officiating we get here. We see both sides of it here on these first 2 throws. Joseph gets a kick off by Nathaniel out of midair. Caught it as if it was just nothing. And that ends the 4th inning. But the D-backs get 2 runs on the board thanks to Tommy Pham and Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel.
Well, it's good to see them answer. And again, we'll talk about, especially if Arizona wins this one, the at-bat that Gabriel Moreno just had both times to be able to extend it, force Montgomery to work, and then hit it in the left center field. That was a thing of beauty.
And It truly is what Moreno did. Get it onto left center field. And us for all the way there. Love that for the star-studded catcher of the D-backs.
So, Alec, I know it goes without saying you'll be calling the bottom of the fourth, but Merrill Kelly, he's getting an opportunity to shut the door yet again. I think it's going to be very important that he does so. He's been spotless through three. He's gone through the order one time, but it gets considerably more difficult each time you roll through. Montgomery got roughed up. I think Kelly needs to lock it down.
And if Howard Montgomery got roughed up, it is time for Merrill Kelly to do his job and to lock things down against this very talented Rangers lineup, in which we saw we would have seen a collapse from them at the tail end of the regular season, but they put things together here in the postseason. We don't know which side the Rangers were going to get because you can mix it. They're a mixed bag, and we don't know which side we're going to see from them.
Well, speaking of the mixed bag side of it, you get another opportunity, and I hate to push this button so much, but you get 1, 2, 3 in the order. It's Marcus Semien. It's about time Marcus comes through with a big hit here to extend this lineup.
It's time that he comes. It's time to get the big hits because at times you would think that he would be hot, but also he's been cold. We've seen more cold moments from Semien. It appeared he got out the front when he finally recorded a hit in game one. And his final at-bats in 6 at-bats, and it appeared that that will put the Rangers in prime position. But Corey Seager grounded out in the 10th inning. Nonetheless, it didn't matter because Adolis Garcia at the 11th.
Yeah, again, from some of the mainstays, they were talking about it on MLB Network side, is the home runs that we saw from Seager and Garcia, some of the best of all time. You could make the case that the game we saw yesterday was one of the instant classics.
Yeah, you can make that case. A big instant classic, perhaps the best that we have seen this postseason.
It really has. I definitely would put that as the best of the postseason, no doubt.
As we get right back here for the bottom of the fourth, as out comes Semien, immediately takes a fastball down low, 92 that time, so no scoring updates for the NHL side. Remains 2-0 Bruins. And just as Semien, he's going to air this to the left side field, but that's not going to reach to the stands. Lourdes Gurriel takes care of business as it comes just short of the warning tracks.
So as we said, Merrill Kelly back on the mound. He's through 3 scoreless. He's went to the side, not giving up a hit here. If he can continue to lock this down, he's at 37 pitches, a little bit farther in Alec vision. If he can keep that, it'll be a good outing for Torey Lovullo's squad.
And set up this bullpen in a good position where you can limit them to just using 3 guys.
Yes.
And get your top 3 guys out there between Thompson, Ginkgo, and Seawall. Now the next guy is Corey Seager. Here's Seager. The high fly ball to center field is not even going to move Alec Thomas. So 2 batters down and 1 to go. Up comes the rookie, Evan Carter, the 21-year-old from Elizabethtown, Tennessee.
Again, I know it's early, but we cannot overstate how monumental this could be for Merrill Kelly. Be able to get through Semien and Seager and all the other names. He's pitching to contact. He's doing a good job here, Alec.
So far, so good in the face of adversity. And now the rookie have a chance to end this runless drought for the Rangers. And Carter's going to sky one, fouling over left side. So he's going to do it again. It's 2-0 Bruins, as previously mentioned. Pablo Zacha, Charlie McAvoy goals. Zacha on the power play. The Islanders have the lone goal between them and the Blue Jackets. That goal comes from Kyle Palmieri. And Carter is going to get this over to center field just short of Alec Thomas. And that'll be a base hit. Not too high enough to be an out so that Thomas had enough time to get there, but short enough and low enough for Carter to get the first.
Should we be surprised, Alec, that the 20-year-old gets the first hit of the game for Texas?
I mean, with how the Rays have been playing, this may come as a surprise, but now we're getting to a situation where the D-backs are facing up against the Tiger at the plate and Adolis Garcia, and he can get his 6th straight thinking of a home run here. Certainly possible. Here's the first throw, and here just comes Carter. Thought about stealing second, and gets back to first safely. The pickoff attempt unsuccessful to Christian Walker.
I think if I'm Evan Carter and I know I got a Dolis there, I'm staying tailored to first base. I'm not moving.
Yeah, you think of Evan Carter. Stay put at first because this D-backs lineup knows a thing or two about speed. Here's the 1-0. Garcia's going to sky this to right field, but Corbin Carroll is just waiting there at the doorstep, just standing there, menacingly to keep it a 2-0 Diamondbacks lead heading into the fifth.
Well, Kelly gave up his first hit. Nobody cares about the no-hitter at this point. It's about going ahead and getting the victory. So 43 pitches into his day, and he gets through the Rangers' tough part of the order. Again, I know everything is difficult, but he's been economical. He's been efficient. Everything you could ask for right now is we're going to go to the fifth with the Diamondbacks in the 2-0 lead.
Oh, man. I really have to throw out the SpongeBob reference.
Do it.
Patrick Slide. SpongeBob really is a classic. Oh, man. But once again, I want to give the rundown. Islanders 1-0. Kyle Palmieri from Kieran Ball and Sebastian Aho, the defenseman. And we're tied 2-2 between the Leafs and Preds. The Leafs goals being scored by William Nylander and reliable Mark Giordano of his first of the year. Assist from Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, who you would expect to assist on a Nylander goal, especially if it's on a power play. The Giordano goal from David Kemp and Mad Max Domi for the Preds is one of the Leafs' old guys, even though he was a one-time Leaf. Ryan O'Reilly, auto parts, with 2 power play goals from Roman Josi and Philip Forsberg twice, and the other says Luke Evangelista.
A pretty good job there for Ryan O'Reilly, getting a couple goals against his former team, as you said. You say Saros stops 23 out of 25. And Ilya Samsonov, 13 out of 15. Again, goaltending. For as much as they talk about Toronto being 5-2 on the season, which is a good record, but goaltending, I'm not so sure just yet this year.
And you have you wonder, at what point do you give extended looks for Joseph Wall? Because at this point, you can make the case that Wall has been their most reliable goaltender between him and Ilya Samsonov. Can't say Matt Murray because he's on the LTIR.
Right. No, Joseph Wall's had some games, especially in the postseason. You remember that he did a really good job for the Maple Leafs. So I would have to go ahead and think that he should get some extended time. I'm not going to say split it 41 games apiece because Ilya is going to be your starter, but still, I think you give Joseph more looks, especially when you have the Maple Leafs offense that you do.
How it's been perennially lights out, and how they've been scoring in bunches throughout the course of the Matthews era. And for them to break out with a playoff series for the first time since 2004, if you want to give some more opportunities for Wall to be in the net. But then by the time you make it to the playoffs, that is if you make it to the playoffs, but I'm sure that is going to happen because the Leafs are a playoff contender. To who do you turn to begin the postseason between Samsonov and Wall? I lean towards Wall.
Alec, you can make that argument on that side. And again, it just really depends on who's hot. One of them's got to differentiate each other for Brad Treliving's squad.
And just as we're getting back to the fifth inning with one other final score out of the way, the Panthers complete the comeback 3-2 to final.
That's a good win for them, as they're still going to be getting back wounded bodies in the side between Ekblad and Montour, who's going to miss some extended time. So I'm going to take the fifth, and then we'll switch back to the sixth. It's been a good pace of play so far, and Merrill Kelly and Jordan Montgomery have been a big reason of that. It's hard to believe Jordan Montgomery's pitch count still at 46 despite giving up 2 runs. Last time for Evan Longoria was a sacrifice bunt that ended up being a run, as Montgomery's down 2-0 now.
Longoria taking a page out the Geraldo Perdomo playbook, as I mentioned before, and he's certainly living up to that task of being efficient at the bats.
So 3-0. Montgomery's not been able to find it here so far to start the fifth. Again, as far as your game reset, And it was pretty simple, just a couple runs there for Arizona in the previous part of the inning. And it gave an opportunity for Montgomery to have to fight through some things. Now he's trying to find the zone. It's obligatory stick, 91 miles an hour. He's about to throw his 50th pitch, but let me give you that reset. So it was Moreno home run to center, 413 feet, top of fourth, and then Lourdes Gurriel single brought in Tommy Pham. It's a 2-0 lead for Arizona. Merrill Kelly's just given up one hit. This is hit hard, but this is right at Seager. He'll toss it over to Lowe, one up, one down.
And just taking his time with it. Just enough time for him to throw to first base after Emmanuel Longoria batted right in his direction. He didn't have to move much at all.
Nope, those are the ones you want. It's hit right at you. You make the play, no hop, no worries. As they're showing the post-game crew, in between Alex Rodriguez, David Ortiz, and Derek Jeter, watching some people from the Boys and Girls Club throw out the first pitch and sing the national anthem. That's always pretty cool. Geraldo Perdomo. He will fake a take, and we'll see if he wins. Yes, he did. It's 0-1.
Oh, so just got enough of that. That postseason crew, all-stars wrote their prize between Jeter, Ortiz, A-Rod, and led by the man who got his first Super Bowl earlier on this year, Kevin Burkhardt, alongside Greg Olson.
Yeah, now Kevin Burkhardt's getting teased on NFL commercials that I see. They've been running a lot of ads on that side. So he's having some fun now, but he's getting teased on the NFL side. Again, on the Monday end, it'll be 8:03 start for Alec and I on the Twitter/X space on the YouTube. But World Series coverage will begin Monday again at 7. And we'll be on the Halloween side for Tuesday, and then we'll be away for Game 5. We'll figure out if anything else happens, how we will get to it, but we definitely will cover it at some point. 0-2 is the count against Perdomo, with 53 pitches into Montgomery's day. As this is another one, I don't think Perdomo went this time. He spin on a curveball. It's 1-2.
I think this was close to being called one, but it looked very close to looking like a foul ball, if I'm being honest, because with how it went, it looked like it got off the bat, but that may have been after it hit the dirt.
Yeah, it was awfully close there as far as the take, and Perdomo was able to hold up just enough to keep himself at the bat rack. It's 1 out, top of the fifth. Arizona's up by 2. Big swing for Perdomo, cues it foul. We'll keep it going.
And another big at-bat for Alec Perdomo. We don't know if he's going to offer that bunt, but we'll have to keep note of that.
Yeah, he's liable to do anything, as we've talked about between the Game 1, Game 2 side. He's got a lot of power for a 9-hitter as well, so not your ordinary, as he's making a really good case for himself with another good extended at-bat, make it 2-2. Kind of looks like Gabe Moreno's bat so far for Perdomo.
It looks like it.
He's working his way through, trying to keep it alive, finding a pitch to hit, as Montgomery's had to find some extended throws. And now here's a single. Great job by Perdomo there.
So it's not the bunt, but it's right for the gap between Seager and Semien. The two guys are at the top of the order for the Rangers. And that's who you want to get over, because between those two guys and to shoot it right over their heads, good job from Beckham.
It is. And I know we got the camera shot. I can't believe I hadn't said this before, but Lourdes Gurriel with the purple hair, he looks like an emo punk rocker on that side. He's using a lot of the dye on that end, but he's also able to get some key hits and make some good catches as well as he extends that lineup. Ketel, Marte, I don't know if this is going to drop, and Semien has to get deeper to the second base side to make the catch.
You had to get deep in order to make that, because it looked like it was going to split that gap right through. It looked like it was going to come close, but not close enough for Arizona.
So Corbin Carroll with the last opportunity here in the top of the fifth with 2 outs. Perdomo and an extended at bat against Montgomery. Montgomery's pitch count is still really good. He's at 58. Dane Dunning is starting to get warm, but I don't think he's just starting to get hot at this point. So it's going to be Montgomery's time still on the mound, even if he gets out of this relatively quickly. 0-1 against Carroll.
Now, how Dane Dunning has been playing, I still want to make this remark about having a fire lit his eyes, because of the Jacob deGrom signing in Texas, but that's how Dave Dunning has been playing throughout the regular season and the postseason.
Yeah, bullpen alongside Dave Dunning again, as you gave the shout out to, and I agree. They've all been good on that side. Look, you want to be able to get outs and be used however you can. If you're not going to be in the starting rotation and you still get outs effectively in the bullpen, we could argue those are even more important to get those outs in the bullpen. As it's 1-1 with 2 outs. Corbin Carroll at the dish. He's 0 for 2 in this game. That probably means he's due. Big swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Make it 1-2.
And you wonder if Carroll's going to get something here as a 2 batter because 0 for 2, you think that you'll be due for a big hit here for Arizona.
Yeah, he is that good as far as home run power, bunts, base hits, speed. He's got it all. He's a complete 5-tool player. He's down against it though, 1-2. Carroll will ground it, but this one is foul, and they'll get back to the bat rack.
So I know Corbin Carroll, he knows about big at-bats and these sequences.
Again, I always have to be mindful of Alec vision on this side. 2 whips on 31 swings, so a lot of contact here for the Diamondbacks. They're making Montgomery work, and that's important. Again, they have the lead, just like they did in Game 1. 1-2. Perdomo goes. Here's a chance and an easy stolen base yet again for the Diamondbacks.
In their last 4 games, they've been electric when stealing bases, already up to 13 after having just 8 in the prior games before in the first 10 games. This is what Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is all about. Stolen bases aplenty, and they're having that in bunches now.
As Alec said, they are batting a cool 100%, 18 for 18 as far as steal opportunities. And again, Jonah Heim doesn't have an opportunity to throw because by the time most of these runners are off for the base, they already got a 7-step lead.
They already at that advantage where they have several steps way outside, and the D-backs putting themselves in a position to excel. So remember, I remarked this last game that for every speedster that every other team has, the D-backs have like 2 or 3 more of those on their team.
It really does seem like it again, or they just have the complete understanding of when to go and what to do. Again, it's not always about having blinding speed, but if you have the base running instincts, again, you should go and be a fly on the wall for any aspiring baseball stealer here as far as running the bases. Try to emulate what Arizona's doing. They get those big leads, they see what the pitcher's doing, and when they lift their leg, that's when they go. You find those little signs and intricacies to pick up on, and Arizona's been doing that better than anybody. So Jordan Montgomery wipes the sweat off his brow and grabs the rosin bag. He uses his disengagement. It's a huge at-bat against Corbin Carroll right now. Carroll's got an opportunity with a base hit, essentially, to take a 3-0 lead for the Diamondbacks. First rookie, 25 home runs and 50 stolen bases in MLB history. Let that sink in. Here's a full count pitch. And again, now Corbin Carroll will use his disengagement.
So both the batter and the pitcher have used their disengagements in this sequence. I wonder about what disengagement is going to be used next. Well, I know the referee has said this, but the pitcher gets 1 or 2, the batter gets 1.
Yeah, they both use theirs, so be prepared for a showdown here. Full count. What do we got? Here's the pitch. Carroll will sky this. Is it going to stay in play? Be an opportunity for Josh Young. He gets underneath it. Stolen base doesn't matter. As we get to the bottom 5, it's still 2-0 Diamondbacks.
And a little scoring update. Again, going over to up north, our friends up north, Joel Armia for Les Canadiens. St. Magnifique, Caden Goulet, the assist, as the only assist on that Armia goal. It's a tie game, 3-3, nearing the midway point of the third.
Good job by you, Alec. Again, with all the voice inflections and everything else that you throw in there, and you get all the accents and everything else correct. Way better than that than I am. I won't even fake it.
Oh boy, I don't know if I don't know if I'm really that good at. I don't really know French a lot because I'm more into English and Spanish with a little bit of Italian, if you ask me.
Hey, if you know enough to know enough, that's all that matters. You absolutely nailed that one. Let me go ahead and look and just go ahead and give you some other scores. Again, you just went to the Jets and the Canadians, the Sens and the Pens still 3-1. It's a 1-0 Islanders lead over the Blue Jackets. We've gone over all of those. We'll flip into the NBA scoreboard in the meantime. So Pistons might get back-to-back wins. It'd be a good one against the Bulls in the Central Division because keep in mind they still got to deal with the Milwaukee Bucks on that end. It's 107.97. I'm just going to click on that box score, give some extended stats, and we'll see what we got here. So Jalen Duren, holy cow, for the first 3 games of the season, he has been exceptional. 21 points and 14 rebounds on 8 of 10. Who says you need to have a three-point shot when you can do all of that? And Cade Cunningham, this is a good bounce-back game. 21 points and 9 assists on that side to help lead the Pistons. DeMar DeRozan, he's usually one that absolutely dominates the Pistons. He's 6 of 11 with 18 points and 4 assists and 2 blocks.
The one that really catches my attention just as we get an Islanders goal, Zach LaVine was 51 points. Amazing work by the former T-Wolf and the former Slam Dunk Contest champion. For 51,
Thank
I
you
don't care
for
if it is a losing effort. That is outstanding work.
thank you for picking me up on that one because I'm scrolling through and I'm embarrassed that I missed it. 51 for Zach LaVine. I will take that. So we know about the scoring prowess that he's always had. It's nice to see that come to light. That is exceptional.
Yeah, that is exceptional. But let me see on this recent goal by the Islanders. What is Spencer Martin doing? I know I get the idea he's trying to pass your teammates, but you pass it right directly to the stick of Casey Zizekas. Not only do the Islanders capitalize on that, even though Zizekas didn't get the goal, Matt Martin was at the doorstep to bank it in. What are you doing there, you young kid?
Oh, that's not going to be good as far as the coaching staff and getting that talking to. That's going to not feel so good for a little bit.
It's not. So we're back here, bottom of the fifth.
So Merrill Kelly, again, he's not even through 50 pitches into his day. He's already 0-1 ahead against Mitch Garver, 5, 6, and 7 due up here. In the bottom 5, it's still a 2-0 lead for the Arizona Diamondbacks. But for Merrill Kelly, again, it's the second time through the order. It's only been a single hit from Evan Carter. That's it, and that's all. As Garver hits it hard, and he gets a solo shot in left field.
Exactly what he needed. Him at the DH spot because normally he's playing the DH spot. You would think for a catcher, that would be pretty rare for a catcher to be at a DH spot for someone who can hit that hard and get things right out of the ballpark. Impressive there, especially throughout his career, and to cut in this Diamondbacks lead by 1. So slice it in half like it's a piece of cake or a piece of pie.
That is a really good pitch by Merrill Kelly. And I'm going to tell you, that's an even better at bat for Mitch Garver. He takes that one about 5 inches off the plate, gets the bat head low, and drives it to left field. That is some kind of power. And if you're Merrill Kelly, most batters will take that for a ball. But Garver hit it out.
Yeah, most batters they're going to just let that slide through, but Garver, he wants to risk it. And he risked it indeed he did. And the risk paid off. He gets the reward.
So Jonah Heim, again, that pitch that missed on the sinker was almost in the same spot that Garver hit out. Heim takes it for a ball. It's 1-1.
Final score in the NBA, the Pelicans down the Knicks 96-87. Right behind a 26-point outing from Brandon Ingram. Zion Williamson has 24 to that to overcome 18 points from R.J. Barrett.
Just to add on to the score you talked about previously, it looks like the Islanders have scored again. 3:21 left. It's 3-0.
Oh, so it seems like it's going to be one of those nights for the Blue Jackets, even though for a promising team, this may be one of those harsh learning experiences.
Did they get Ilya Sorokin tonight? Is he in that?
I'm going to look at that. It appears from what I'm seeing here, it is an empty net goal as it is pointed out. for the New York Islanders. It is Semyon Varlamov who is having a 32 save shutout.
He's still a very good goaltender in his own right. Christian Walker was able to hop. I wanted to see if that stayed fair. They counted it as an out anyway. So this is scolded. He hopped barehanded to make that one over to Merrill Kelly. That's some good defense by Christian.
Oh, feels like that one of those animations on Wii Sports type of feels.
Yeah, I know the announcers on the Fox Sports side, they went crazy with all of that stuff. I mean, it was a great play, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't jump out of the seat out of that one, but the bare hand is what caught everybody by surprise. Nathaniel Lowe, he's giving this a ride, and it's just caught at the warning track by Gurriel.
Oh, ever so close, but not close enough for Emmanuel Rivera. Because when he is hot. But at those times, when he has some hits like that, sometimes you're just going to feel like, oh, I just wish I had more juice on that hit. I wonder if that's what's going on in Emmanuel Rivero's mind.
So here's the thing that both of us can keep in mind during our play-by-play game when we switch off. Now, when you get to the righty side and Merrill Kelly's burying that pitch low, just like he did with Garver, this is hitting the hole. Perdomo is going to make a play to dive, but he's got none. But the point I was going to make is this. When you get the righties and Merrill Kelly is burying that pitch inside, when Garver hit it out, that was the same thing Lowe was just looking for and trying to hit it out. So we'll see if the Texas Rangers will pick up on that low inside pitch and look to drive it.
Yeah, Lowe had the same thing in mind. That. And did I just see that Christian Walker caught it with his bare hand? That's even more impressive than getting time out.
Yeah, that's the play that we just talked about previously. That's what made all the announcers on the Fox Sports side along John Smoltz go a little crazy. They were jumping out of their chair. He caught that with his bare hand, and Kelly was able to step to the bag to get one of those outs. They're showing that again. That's a pretty good dive there because he caught that between probably his index finger and his forefinger just to be able to get that one out behind him. So that's good camera work by the Fox Sports crew. So Leota Tavares, second time through, this time a sinker low, but Kelly gets the call, 0-1.
As I'm watching the conclusion of the Islanders Blue Jackets game, boy, Semyon Varlamov continues to shut the door just by the skate blade on Emil Bemstrom.
And Varlamov is one of those guys, they were wondering if he was still going to be the backup netminder. If you're in a situation, Alec, where you have Ilya Sorokin and Semyon Varlamov, you don't have any goaltending concerns.
And not as of now, but you have to consider Varlamov's age because he's on the first year of a 4-year deal down the road just as Varlamov secures the shutout.
It's good work there in Long Island, again, for the road fans, but they're in Columbus and nationwide as they get the shutout. Columbus, they'll lose a tough one there, but sometimes you do get goalie.
And sometimes it just feels that way. 33 of 33, perfect night for Varlamov. Just we get another final score. Pistons 118, Bulls 102. Shout out to Kate Cunningham on a bounce back. 25 points, 9 of 19 shooting, 10 dimes.
Yeah, it looks like I'll have to take a bounce back win, but I can't count out the Red Wings just yet. They did score a goal against the Bruins, so we'll keep you updated on that. Selfishly, for my side, it's 2-1 against Tavares. Good pitch for Kelly. And he's been on it right now. Like he's been able to shake off some of those home runs and almost. He's given his team a really solid outing so far.
It really has been excellent, except what Brent Strong has been looking for in his pitching staff between Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Brandon Pfaadt. And we don't know who's going to be the game 4 starter. That's going to be a decision for both of these teams to make. And Kelly has been really sharp on the night.
Yeah, when we do get to game 4, I'm going to be incredibly interested because honestly, I don't know how far the Arizona pitching staff extends. I'll just be honest here with you. So it's going to be really important, even if it's got to get done by committee in game 4. We'll see if Kelly can get out of this under 60. Tavares, it's going to be a tough play, but Kelly made it look easy. So he gives up a solo shot, but nothing more. 2-1 Arizona with the lead going into the 6th.
Yeah, it looked tough there, but Kelly made not so tough because it was a slow ground ball that really didn't move an inch from the plate. But Kelly knew that the entire way, and just like that, made a Joe Moreno from Daniel Sprong.
So Joe Moreno and Alex DeBrincat have been ridiculously hot. I don't know what to say about Joe Moreno, but we'll figure this one out. I want to throw an NHL question at you. This is going to be a tough one, but I know you're up to the task, or maybe we can have a little laugh at it. It might come as soon as tomorrow on this side for the Sharks. They play against Washington, Vancouver, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Edmonton. Edmonton is November 9th. When do the San Jose Sharks get their first win? Is it tomorrow against Washington? Or it would be even funnier if it was Thursday, November 9th against Edmonton. I think everybody would have a panic attack.
Oh, I would be in full shock mode if they beat the Edmonton Oilers on an ESPN Plus. That would be the biggest panic attack that I would have, because I never expected the Oilers to come out this slow, especially if the McDavid injury doesn't help matters. But it feels like a panic attack right at my heart, because the biggest question marks came around the bottom six, the defense, and the goaltending. Sure, you have the 1-2 punch of Matthias Ekholm and Darnell Nurse as your number one pair, but I'm iffy on, well, Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard, that's what I meant to say, but I'm iffy on Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci, because they can be solid as a rock sometimes, but they make me at times flashes in the pan, because Ceci has been bugging with an injury to himself in the past, and that has not helped himself, because Ceci has given himself a bad rep in the past for past performances, and especially the Ottawa Senators. But it seems that he may have found himself a new life in his 1 year with the Penguins. But we don't know if that's just a flash in the pan. But for the Oilers, things have to turn around, and fast.
Yeah, they do. Again, I'll wait for my next comment that I want to make. I know you brought up about the Heritage Classic a little bit yesterday, but I'll let you get into the 6th, and we'll talk about it the 7th. But just to remind everybody, the Heritage Classic combined records for the Flames and Oilers heading into 7 o'clock on TBS on the Eastern side, 3-10-2. Yikes.
Yeesh. But speaking of yeesh, Ketel Marte, he's been looking for a breakthrough here, but Jordan Montgomery's really been holding his own. We've anticipated this to be a low-scoring outing here in Game 2, and so far we're getting ourselves a low-scoring outing. It's just one run separating these two, Mitch Garver having the most recent, and a first pitch out for Marte.
Yeah, and it was I think it was Gabriel Moreno on that side. He went for a big time swing. He didn't get it. That went out, and it was an easy throw over there. Is the bullpen still starting to get warm for Bruce Bochy's squad?
Yeah, how much longer will Dane Dunning have to warm up until his arm tires out? That's the big question. Just as Christian Walker comes out, first pitch strike. Walker didn't even swing at it. This went really down Main Street, and no swing for Walker. Got it. Swing at those opportunities.
Holy cow, that splits the plate. If you're Christian Walker, you cannot second guess yourself no matter how much you're struggling. They need your power bat.
And now Walker's going to pop this out. Emmanuel is going to spot this easy as it gets for Mr. Get Low. So 2 down, 1 to go.
That's a missed opportunity there for Christian Walker. That's all I'll say. When you get a pitch like that from Montgomery, you've got to hit that one out of the ballpark.
And we have just seen a penalty shot goal from David Pasternak. It is now a 3-1 score in Boston. Everyone of Beantown likes that. A de facto shootout, and Pasternak takes full advantage.
He's too good. You give him a shootout goal, I don't care what goalie's in net. They're not stopping it.
I mean, he's going to completely make the goalie look a fool. Even if it's one of elite, he's going to make that goaltender look foolish. It's 3-1 Bruins. Come back to Tommy Pham at the DH for Arizona, former New York Met, and 83 on this first throw. This went low on a breaking ball. 2 for 2, a base hit, a double, and a run. He's batting 245 this postseason. Electric as he can get. Now comes the 1-0. Outside left 2. 83 this time around, and Pham did not offer on it. Montgomery approaching pitch number 17.
Still very economical and efficient for Jordan Montgomery. Both these starters, they've done a wonderful job so far.
You would think that they go on to the seventh inning as this is offered by Pham, and this is going to the right side, just right inside to the outfield. Garcia's going to throw to second base as Pham slides. It goes down with Sager, and Pham is going to reach safely to second. This is going to be a double.
Well, for all the talk about Christian Walker, Tommy Pham says, take this. I'm 3 for 3, and I got a double. That's some good work.
So basically, a batting hat trick. If you go on that 3 for 3, and he pulled a bunny out of the hat.
Yeah, and he hit that one off the grating, too. That was nuts.
Off the grating, over past the right foul line. It is a fair ball, and this went off of Pham, right here by Sager on the 70th pitch by Montgomery. And now Lourdes Gurriel is going to go to first as this is intentionally a walk here for Jordan Montgomery, but he has to be careful with that decision because guess who's coming up? Alec Thomas.
I wonder if this is a situation where you're just going to go lefty on lefty, but Alec Thomas has kind of shown me that he can get the job done. I don't know about this call.
Yeah, I don't know about this call either, as Montgomery's going to use his disengagement, and it pays off. Tommy Pham was caught way out of second base, and Thomas is going to carry over to the seventh inning as the leadoff batter for the D-backs on a successful pickoff.
Oh no. Torey Lovullo is going to have to be screaming at his team. You cannot do that. You were set up with runners in scoring position here to do damage.
I mean, I feel Torey Lovullo, and he's going to be screaming at the top of his lungs once he finds out about the intentional walk. Now, I know the decision kind of makes sense because they're trying to take the bat out of Gurriel's hands to give the D-backs a lesser chance. But Alec Thomas has been clutch this postseason, and I sometimes question that decision. But we'll have to wait and see if it pays off come the seventh inning. But so far, it has.
It has, and on that side for Tommy Pham, yes, you do get the double, but that's kind of a boneheaded play. But I will say this again from the camera shot that we just got. That's good work by Jonah Heim to get those points there to communicate to Jordan Montgomery because he would have had no idea. Tommy Pham would have been able to take third base, but Jonah Heim helps his pitcher out as they get the out at second and get out of the inning.
Yeah, perfect placement. Well, it wasn't really Jonah Heim, but rather Montgomery picking off Tommy Pham. It was a successful pickoff that time. The last time we've seen a successful pickup, you remember the first baseball game we ever covered when the Mariners picked up Edward Julian, the rookie for Minnesota.
No, I do hear you on the pickoff throw. You're correct with the Montgomery. All I was saying was it was a good work there by Heim to call it out for Montgomery so he could turn on and throw because he was pointing at second base side. So a catcher made his pitcher aware to make it a lot easier. So that's good work by them on that side to communicate. And they've had to do that too because the Diamondbacks have been able to steal bases like crazy. So Texas Rangers were able to pick up on that one. And now they go to the bottom of the sixth. And Merrill Kelly's going to be back out there. And again, if I'm Torey Lovullo's squad, I don't think I have anyone else warm. Maybe I'll start with Ryan Thompson or Kevin Ginkel, but I want to see if Kelly can continue to work his way through this because he's been good.
Yeah, he has been really good on the night and really good. That's what we'll put it at that because Merrill Kelly, as sharp as he has come this postseason. Now, I know Game 2 of the NLCS was the lone bad game that he has had, but that was just a flash. That was just a minor blip on the radar for Kelly because he has otherwise been sharp. Meanwhile, 5-1 Ottawa. The two lead goals from Brady Tkachuk and Drake Batherson. The sixth of the year for Tkachuk, second of the game, and Batherson gets his first of the year.
So not only can Tkachuk punch you in the face, he can also score some goals. Hey, like father, like son between Keith Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, and Matthew Tkachuk. Those are some great bloodlines and some tremendous, probably all Hall of Fame hockey players when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I can say that safely too. Between us two, John. So as we come to the bottom of the sixth after a successful pickup, as Marcus Semien just like that quickly, and 0-2 count after 2 strikes. Just as we're getting a shot over for everything, and now Semien isn't going to offer the sinker at 93, 1-2. You'd think he's going to be due for something, and to his credit, he was in game one when he finally got his first successful at-bat in 6 tries. Now to 1-2. On his way, no offer on the slider 87. So far, the head-eye paying off. I wonder because the Winnipeg-Montreal game is tied to this point, and Semien punched out as Merrill Kelly gets a little friendly call. Inches to the outside, but they're going to roll this inside on that sequence. So make that another strikeout for Marcus Semien.
Looks like he gets that one with a fastball right on the left side corner. And a good placement there. Semien continues to have it tough. And yeah, that's just a little bit outside there. That's tough for Semien, but when you're fighting it at the bat rack, those things can happen.
Yeah, those things can really happen because you want to wonder about the consistency of the umpiring because the Corey Seager takes ball one, and then Merrill Kelly perfectly onto the bottom line. And not have been placed better than that as Corey Seager is forced to stare 1-1.
Well, it's nice to see Merrill Kelly going toe for toe with Jordan Montgomery. You wondered who had the pitching matchup advantage. It's been pretty even so far.
Oh, this ball just fouled as this one grounding low on the infield, but it was just out. And just as Emmanuel Longoria was rushing to it, he's not going to get a chance to toss Seager out. So it's going to be a 1-2 count for Seager, the electric batter for the Rangers, former Dodger. Already 67 throws for Merrill Kelly on the night. This is a tie game between the Jets and Canadians. This one way out. Fastball 93. The Jets get a power play, looking to make it 4-3 in the final seconds of regulation. They have just used their timeout. Now here's the 2-2 for Kelly. And Seager is going to foul it to the left. And the Canadians almost get a short-handed goal, but that was taken care of by Lauren Brossois, the former Golden Knight who came over back to Winnipeg via free agency.
It's a good pickup for them, too.
Yeah, especially when he's provided in that first round. Seager is going to be punched out. 6K for Merrill Kelly. 2 down, 1 to go. 70 throws.
Hey, Merrill Kelly, no matter what happens here, this is a really good outing. I don't think anybody expected him at this point to only give up 1 run through this game, almost through 5 2/3.
And just 3 hits surrendered as well. And that low run coming on a solo shot from Mitch Garver. 6 Ks for Kelly, even though his counterpart, Jordan Montgomery, he doesn't have the strikeouts that Kelly has right now, just as he throws a curveball right line to Evan Carter. Looking for a 7th strikeout, but this is as solid of a night as it can get for Kelly. The 72nd pitch, and did Carter go? They're going to say no. Did not get enough of that swing, so it's going to be 1-1 the count. 14-game postseason on-base streak. That's the longest by a player that is of drinking age in the United States, 21 or younger. Just as Carter's going to foul this right off the tip of his bat and hit the netting.
The one Golden Knights one that made me laugh was when Connor Bedard scored. He said he can't even gamble yet, but he's tied the game.
Oh my God! I mean, you think of that as so. You think about sports betting,
Yeah.
I know it's become a rising trend here in the United States between DraftKings and FanDuel, just as the 1-2 pitch. And did Carter go there? Yes, he did. He got enough of that to end the 6th inning. So that may be the last of the at-bats with Merrill Kelly. He's going to face pending decision, but I think he's going to continue to go here in the 7th inning. They may have rewarded himself with that. But so far, as nice of a night it goes for him. 7 strikeouts entering the 7th.
Here, Alec, I'll be right back, and then I'll get the call for the 7th.
So just to give you the rundown as we head into the 7th inning stretch, it's just as simple as it can get. Just 3 runs total score. Gabby Moreno, the with a solo shot, 413 feet to left center. And as the opening run for the D-backs, they extended that in the fourth inning. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr. of a base hit to left field that brought Tommy Pham from second base to home. And Pham, he was picked up in the previous time we saw the D-backs. We'll get to them in just a moment. But Alec Thomas, he will lead off the Diamondbacks to start off the seventh inning. Unless if there's something on Emmanuel Rivera's side. But Thomas is likely going to stay at the bat. Just remember, Lourdes Gurriel was intentionally walked, but Pham was picked up. He only scored for the Rangers. Mitch Garver, 4 feet to left field. And that's the only score for Texas here near Globe Life Field. Merrill Kelly, 6 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 3 hits, 1 earned run on 74 pitches. Jordan Montgomery, he doesn't have a strikeout, but on 70 pitches, he's allowed 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk. But the 2 earned runs, the only damage that was done. Yo. Already good. So it is a very tight game. Yeah, 2-1 headed into the 7th. Then, well, yeah, a pitching matchup that we anticipated here. Now, I'm sure the D-backs won't make the mistake of pulling Kelly early. As a matter of fact, if it's conceivable, they might let him go the entire game. I mean, what I can think of is Don Larson's perfect game in the World Series, and the only perfect game to date, still to this day, by a pitcher has pitched an entire game. But, oh my goodness, Lauren Brossois, are you kidding me? Our chat guy got robbed. So we're in overtime between the Jets and Avs. The Jets power play just expired.
And Ian, I just got back here to hear your comment on the side from Merrill Kelly. And you know what? Honestly, I'm going to agree with you. Because when you think about Ryan Thompson, Ginkel, and on the other end for Paul Sewald, they did get extended a little bit, even though they had the lead. If Merrill Kelly is running this well, and you know that Arizona needs this game, I would not be surprised if he gets to that point. I wouldn't even be surprised if he goes at least 8 innings.
That would be spectacular. Just remember, if we think of the Justin Verlander game in the regular season against the Mariners, he went 8 innings in game 1 of that regular season series, the last between the Astros and Mariners.
So I'm switching back off here for the 7th, and Alec's going to take the 8th. It's a 2-1 lead for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Alec did give us the reset. So I just had to take a little bit of a respite here, but I'm back. Going to finish off the rest of this game, too. We had extra innings last night. Adolis Garcia, he had the premium fireworks, even though Corey Seager had a 2-run shot with 1 out in the 9th. It was finished off about in the 11th. First pitcher to complete the first 6 innings of the World Series without a strikeout. Greg Maddux did that in game 2. That's what Jordan Montgomery's doing it now. And it's supreme placement. Thomas, it's a looping ball. We're going to see if this is going to split the gap. And it will. It'll bounce off the wall. Thomas has a ton of speed. And nobody's at second base, but he'll think better of it. He'll go back for a double.
And wise decision of Alec Thomas to go back to second base, because if you remember about Tommy Pham and how he tried to get out of second base, Jonah Heim told Jordan Montgomery that Pham was way out, and Montgomery took full advantage of that communication from Heim. And Thomas, he almost got himself out at third base, and he got a little more greedy there because Josh Jung was waiting there on the doorstep if he were to tag him out there at third. But wise decision from Thomas.
Yes,
Can we just know how clutch Alec Thomas has been the entire postseason?
I was going to take a drink if you didn't mention that, Ian.
Yeah.
No, he's been able to be sharp this whole way through. He gets inserted back into the order, and he looks good. I got to take a sip of water nonetheless, as Emmanuel Longoria is waiting on the 1-0 from Jordan Montgomery. And this is looped. This is fair! This is going to get past the glove of Young. And here comes Thomas. Arizona gets an extra run. It's 3-1.
This guy's on fire. Alec Thomas Prowess just knows when to get it done. Ear in and ear there between Evan Longoria. Finally bringing Jordan Montgomery's night to an end after 6 innings. He doesn't make it out to 7, but now he's in a situation where Andrew Haney is going to come in as he was warming up in the bullpen. Last we saw in the bullpen, Dane Dunning was warming up, but it feels like his arm might have been exhausted too much for him to come on to the mound because warming up there for too long, now you have to switch your plan.
Yep. So as baseball fans know, Evan Longoria started way back in 2008, I believe. Started off his career with the Tampa Bay Rays, and he was electric. As a rookie, he is much older now, some 15, 16 years in the league. But once in a while, if he gets the right pitch, he will bring back some of that Rays magic, and we just saw that right here.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. That's well said, Ian, on that side. And I'll raise you this, boys. On this side, as we get the pitching change from the top of the 7th, and Ian's going to come out to the mound. It's a run here for Arizona, but this really seems like this has got to be add-on territory. They need to at least get 2 more runs. Would you agree?
Agreed. Especially because yesterday we saw just how fast,
Yeah.
a la Corey Seager, just how fast the game can change with one colossal swing of a bat.
Oh, and I'm just seeing that Alex Iafallo and Vladislav Namestnikov almost had game winners on the for the Winnipeg Jets, on the Montreal Canadiens, and Cole Caulfield tried to get his 7th overtime winner. He already has 6 fastest player to 6 overtime winners to start off an NHL career.
It must be nice, and again, I understand how good he is, but it must be nice if you're Cole Caulfield on that side. Hey, you want somebody to score? Come give me the puck because nobody else is going to do it.
And I'm watching Cole Caulfield play coming up to U of Wisconsin.
So, John,
Yes.
So last time I was on a broadcast, I brought up this team, but I do want to ask you something. If somehow the Vancouver Canucks can make the playoffs and maybe even win a series, do you think that's enough to convince Elias Pettersson to sign a new contract?
It may be, because you need to sign him right here and right on the money and the spots, and to give him the right contract, because he's looking for a new contract. The last thing you want to do is trade his RFA rights to another team.
Especially because you decided to give JT Miller, and they give JT Miller a new contract.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with you, Ian, on that side. That's what's got to get done. If you believe in Rick Tocchet's system and they show improvement, they win a series, I think it's enough because Elias Pettersson's going to get a dump truck of money. So Perdomo tried to bunt in 0-1. Still a runner at first in Longoria. Perdomo lays it down again. This will work for the sacrifice. And Arizona, they're no stranger to this. Move Longoria to second.
They've been repeatedly successfully pulling off that tactic, especially Perdomo. Of another sack bunt, and yes, the sack bunts keep on working for the number 9 batter. He's not your typical number 9 batter, but neither is Leody Taveras of the Rangers. These are like mirror images of each other, and not being the traditional 9 batters, but Perdomo, he works instantly from what Taveras does.
Yeah, you're 4 for 7 in the 7, 8, and 9 with a double, extra base hit, a walk, 2 sacrifices. I mean, you can make the joke and say somebody tell Torey Lovullo that there's a DH now in the National League. But no, he's playing it right. And again, Arizona's got the lead again, this time in Game 2. They're just trying to hold it to put this series back to even. Now it's Ketel Marte as he takes the first one for a ball. This is a grand swing, but this is going to keep Longoria at second. Just get the runner over at the last moment. Good toss from Young.
I mean, this was just on the nick of time for Josh Jung. And it was no easy throw either. He had to throw it all the way across because that's a long-range throw. Third base to first base throw was never easy.
If we're counting, How many times the half a step? That's the first one he's seen in this game. He's seen 3 of those in the game 1 side. So they call it the hot corner for a reason. And those throws from third to first, that's the extent of the field. Those are not easy. Speaking of not easy here, it's trying to get it out here for Andrew Heaney against Corbin Carroll. But that's a good fastball, making 0-1.
Now, I wonder about the situation regarding Perdomo, and even though this situation of the sack bunts, and if this is going to pay out, because you have a moment wherever Longoria could be due to strike here and bring that raised magic, as Ian noted.
Carroll! He's going to get this one to right field. They're going to send the runner in Longoria. And no chance as it gets cut off. Arizona's up 4-1.
Wow.
I mean, wow, yes, Ian.
Yep. And fellas, up next is Gabriel Moreno. He doesn't have to crush it this time because we all know about Carroll's speed. If we're being honest, at most, all Moreno has to do is poke a double. Heck, he might even be able to poke a single to let's say the left field corner, or no, yeah, let's say the left field corner, and Carroll will fly from first to third. We've seen it.
Yes, we have. And I guess the one thing I will say, I will not criticize Bruce Bochy. But again, in the same breath, I have to wonder. You mentioned this, Alec. That's why they brought in Andrew Heaney. Now they're going to go with Dane Dunning nonetheless. Maybe they should have just went with Dane Dunning in the first place.
I think that's what they should have done because you haven't warmed up for that long. Now you're in a situation where I don't know how prepared he is right now.
Right.
There's this Nick Suzuki. Oh my goodness, what a gorgeous shootout move he has made on Lord Brossois to get the first shootout goal. See how Mark Scheibele answers, just some stick taps and a save by Jake Allen. But Dunning, you haven't warmed up for so long. Now how is he going to throw coming out to the mound to relieve Andrew Heaney?
Well, at least I feel good about saying the one thing I brought up to you boys on that side of it is the seventh is going to be important. You get into the part of the bullpen that's a little soft for Texas, and Arizona's capitalized now with 2 extra. They're going to give themselves a big leverage lead so they can probably go to the same order of Thompson, Ginkel, and Seawold.
Yeah, this is a big leverage situation in Arizona's favor because you put at it, everything is in their favor now, up 4-1, and with Heaney getting blasted repeatedly on the mound, now you want to have Dunning put up a big outing here to get the final out and to spark a comeback. You'd think that the Diamondbacks were so used to comebacks, being given a taste of their own medicine in game 1. But if you normally, in these types of situations, you think that they would hold.
You think you would, because again, as you just said in game 1, we're pretty much in a mirror situation that we were last night. This time, all Arizona has to do is hold. And if they did in game 1, they could be up 2-0 in this series. So Arizona has not played poorly. It was just the last second comeback. Go ahead.
So here's a situation, right? You're talking about bullpen orders.
Yeah.
But let's say the D-backs add one more insurance run, and Merrill Kelly has a reasonable inning in favor. I think they're going to bring him back out for the bottom of the 7th. Do you push it to the 8th and give your bullpen just one more inning to I don't know, just one more inning of, wouldn't really call it rest, but
yeah. No, I know what you're saying, Ian, on that side because you brought it up earlier, and I agreed with you. If it was possible, he'd throw a complete game. And I argued maybe the 8th. Now this lead might make me question that, but you know what, Merrill Kelly, I'll just stick back to the original point with you. I think he's at least got to go 8 at this point. He's running too well, and I see no reason to change things. But if you're Arizona, keep adding on those runs, and maybe you don't even have to talk about the bullpen.
Keep adding on to them, and you don't have to worry about it. And we get a final score. Roman Josi, OT winner on the Leafs. The Predators take it 3-2.
Oh boy, here comes Steve Dangle.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. He's going to be mad.
Oh boy, just as the Canadians prevail in the shootout, Nick Suzuki, the only shootout goal, 4-3 Montreal.
Well, we'll see what Gabriel Moreno can do here. Got a runner on first. And that was a good take from Moreno, making 2-2 on a sinker.
Now you come to your first straight opportunity in trying to put Moreno away. And now with Christian Walker on deck. We all know about his struggles, but Moreno and Walker, they can come up in these situations.
It's cautious lead for Carroll. Half a step. Moreno now full count with 2 outs. That means runner will be on the move in Corbin Carroll, and that could be absolute dynamite.
He's TNT in these situations, especially when you pay attention to him in the regular season.
So 12 home runs, 23 years or younger, the most in a postseason all time. It's a very young squad. Moreno could be 1 for 4. Runner's going. He walks anyway. So this will bring up Christian Walker. And again, we've talked about his name several times. I don't care who's on the broadcast at this point. Christian Walker, now's the time to come through.
And right now, especially with sub 200 numbers after he had near 250 in the regular season. Right now means right now.
2 ground outs and a pop out. Go ahead, Ian.
You know, these I forget what series it was, but there was a batter in a World Series where they were hitting. I think it might have been White Sox Astros, where a hitter came up who was hitting in the 100s and just cranked the homer.
Yeah, you're going to need something like that for Christian Walker to awake his confidence because, again, go through the numbers, 258, 33 bombs, and 103 RBI. An absolute middle-of-the-order powerhouse. And we'll see if he can come through. 1-1. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. And they'll put this right back to Dunning. They'll make the soft toss over. But Arizona does more damage. It's a 4-1 lead. The latest camera shot we got was Merrill Kelly on the iPad. But I believe it's going to be his inning against Garcia, Garver, and Heim due up next.
I love what Merrill Kelly has been doing throughout this game. What a pitcher's dream is all about to pitch at least 7, perhaps 8 innings in a World Series game. We all know Don Larson in his perfect game, where he pitched all 9 innings in the Game 5 and 56 World Series. But that may be the ultimate dream of a pitcher.
So as a Royals fan, we always around this time we always bring up the highlights of the days of the Fall Classic. And on this day in particular, fun fact, the late Yordano Ventura pitched 7 scoreless innings against the Giants in Game 6, I believe, of the 2014 World Series.
And he was a dynamite pitcher. It's a shame what happened to him on that side because that team, for the back-to-back World Series and at least getting one, it kind of feels like they didn't stay together all that long.
No, unfortunately, because that offseason, Yordano Ventura he died in a car crash, and then after that, and then during that season, everyone got injured. And the Royals are a small market team. Their owners are cheap. They're not going to pony up to keep a core together.
Again, that's what happens sometimes to young teams. And again, let's just make this remark. If you want to segue in between the Royals and Arizona, that's kind of a small market team. And who knows? This is an opportunity for Merrill Kelly to go out there and get another solid part of this inning to get through 7 with 1 run or less. At least he hopes on that end. You never know how many chances you get back to the World Series. So it's very important. These two teams that lost over 100 games 2 years ago, you step up to the plate and see who can win it.
Now on the hockey side, I do do want to say something. You know, the Blackhawks had a win over. They gave the Golden Knights their first loss.
Yes.
An overtime loss, but their first loss of the season. And Connor Bedard with another goal. He's improving slowly. That's 3 goals in I believe 8 games.
Yes.
So yeah, not bad for the rookie.
No, considering that's pretty much the main offense, unless you want to count Corey Perry, who's had some pretty decent numbers and a couple others. But yeah, he's the offense, and he's coming through, and he's showing why he's a number 1 pick. Still waiting here. I know Alec Vision is a little bit ahead of me. They're getting through the NFL scores here. That's going to be leading up on the summer side. They're showing the National Medal of Honor Museum opening up in spring 2025. It looks to be pretty big and extravagant by the time that was done. When I spent my time in Vegas before the COVID pause, I got to see the Raiders Stadium build up in Allegiant, and that was pretty extravagant. Merrill Kelly is back on the mound. He's trying to get through a scoreless 7. That's what he wants. He's only given up 1 run. I know Alec gave the reset, but we can give you the official numbers here for Jordan Montgomery. 6 innings pitched, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, no strikeouts. Still was pretty decent. Adolis will take ball 1, but for Merrill Kelly to this point in time, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, and 7 strikeouts. It's about a dream come true here for Merrill Kelly. This is the 3rd time through the order with just 1 run given up, and that's a dot of a cutter. Make it 1-1.
That is perfect as it can get. You made it right on you. Just inside. I mean, really just inside at the bottom left corner. I mean, a pretty pitch from Kelly.
We've had some fantastic teams, and again, we know Arizona won in 2001 against the Yankees. You consider that one of the all-time teams. But I think when it's all said and done, as far as a hitting lineup at least, Texas could be considered one of those all-time hitting lineups. And it's even more impressive at this point that Merrill Kelly's through 6, and he's only had 77 pitches with 1 run against. I don't think anybody would have believed that. 1-2 is a fastball. Make it 2-2.
I think that for this Rangers offense, to have this really go on a downturn as opposed to game 1, just 3 base runners and just 1 run. I never would have expected this downturn.
Garcia falls on his heavily padded wallet as he tries to swing that one away. It's still 2-2.
Ooh, that really, I really was concerned about that because, you wouldn't see that so much, but man, that he was sliding.
Oh, and then he gets dotted up by Kelly. He's punched out.
Stellar night continues for Merrill Kelly. 6 and 1 for an innings this far, 8 Ks and just 3 hits allowed. He's been looking really good as the number 2.
So John, you mentioned that 2001 Diamondbacks team, and yeah, that was loaded. But what I remember from that team, more specifically, were the 2 top pitchers on that Diamondbacks rotation. You had obviously the big unit, Randy Johnson.
Yes.
But I believe you also had Kurt Schilt.
Yes.
And for that 2-headed monster, that was some of the deadliest stuff you'd ever seen. And I believe, and for the bats, they had a very notable bat. I just can't remember.
Steve Finley.
Yeah, I think that's the guy I'm thinking about.
Longoria with the hop over across. He gets you out at first. Can I say this to you, Ian? You can laugh if you want, but is Merrill Kelly having the same type of outing as those 2 pitchers that you just mentioned? Because this is impressive stuff.
It would, it wouldn't surprise me. Look, I'm not going to. I don't make comparisons because Kurt Schilling was a beast of his own, and we all know who Randy Johnson is.
Right.
But Merrill Kelly, he is pitching. In the industry, it's called he's serving up a clinic right now. He's giving a tutorial on how to be a self-pull killer in the World Series right now.
I want to say so. I think Alec would agree with this on this side. I mean, he's getting through a nasty portion of this Texas lineup. Should have been 3-0, but it's 2-1 against Jonah Heim. But I mean, he's delivering a master class at this point.
Yep, it's really a Merrill Kelly masterclass. And we're getting to a point where it could be the end of this outing here in the seventh inning, but we'll see if he goes one more inning. Pending he gets Jonah Heim out. He's been really that good for 88 pitches now.
We still haven't seen who's getting warm in the Arizona side. We do see Josh Spores starting to get warm alongside Chris Stanton for Texas. As it's 4-1, Arizona's got the lead. Dare I say this feels eerily similar to last night's game, but the only question is whether or not Texas can come back. Alex mentioned it. Ian's mentioned it as well, that Texas can strike at any moment. Kelly trying to close it down. Gorgeous pitch. Gets the inside call on a sinker. Punches out high.
He's been in all the park. Oh my God. Bro, this night. John. Yeah, it's the same thing.
He's in the zone right now.
Oh my God. Merrill Kelly is different. First of all, that sinker, it went in and then back.
Yes.
Okay, no pun intended. Actually, no, all pun intended. That ball moved like a snake. It went
did.
in and then it went back. It moved like a snake.
Well, we're talking about, and I don't mean to, because Zach Gallen did all right in game one, but Merrill Kelly is putting up an ace-type performance. And Alec's going to take over here in the eighth. It's a 4-1 lead. And here's an opportunity for Arizona to get back to the bat rack. But we'll see. I mean, if I'm Troy Lovullo, I'll say it because Ian brought it up. I have no reason. Let's just say this. I'll get the bullpen warm, but I have no reason to get them going to send them in until Merrill Kelly says he wants out the way he's pitching.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not over until it is over for Merrill Kelly. He says it's not over until he feels like he's over for the night. I'll have it at that for Merrill Kelly. He's earned an eighth inning here. But we'll see how long he goes in the eighth before we put in a reliever. I think I'll go with either one of Kevin Ginkel or Ryan Thompson. Because I doubt Kelly goes until the ninth. Because I feel that inning should be reserved for Paul Sewald on a save opportunity to get his postseason leading seventh save if it gets to that situation. Because it's not easy to completely shut down this Rangers lineup top to bottom, but that's what Kelly has done.
Yeah, he has. And Tommy Pham's going to be up the dish against Chris Stratton. He'll be taking over. The only thing Tommy Pham did wrong so far was get tossed at second, but he's 3 for 3 with a run scored.
That's the only thing that Pham really did wrong there, because it was way out, and Hyde pointed out to Montgomery that Pham was way out. He got a little greedy.
So I know Alec Vision is a little bit ahead of me, so I won't step on his toes on any of this stuff. You can chime in where you need to, Ian, on this side. But this is going to be a lot of fun. Texas Rangers, they need runs. They only got 6 outs left.
Yeah, they're keeping Josh Forrest or Otis Chapman on deck for the moment as Chris Stratton comes in. 3.92 ERA, ball one on Tommy Pham. Second one swing and a miss as Pham tried it. He's a perfect 3 for 3 on the night. He has yet to be tossed out. Can this night continue? 1-1. Already 2 pitches into the night for Stratton. Here's the 1-1. And a beautiful throw as it goes to the left line. With Stratton coming in for Dane Dunning to make it a 1-2 count. And Dunning, a fire lit on his eyes after the Jacob deGrom signing. And Stratton coming in for Dunning. Now here's the 1-2. And it's a sky over to the right field side, but it will go on to the stands. He's going to stay. 89 throws thus far for Merrill Kelly. 9 Ks. And that type of deserve this win if the D-backs hold on.
Oh, yeah.
1-2. This is a breaking ball and the change of an 87. So a chance to put Pham out for a second straight time, and Pham is going to stay at the plate once again for this next throw.
Story so far early in Game 1, Game 2 is Texas haven't had to use their best relievers, and they've been spotless so far. Will it continue?
So now we get a review here. This may have gone off the tip of the bat. That's what the umpire is going to say. It did go off the tip of the bat. And again, this at-bat sequence is going to extend for another pitch for Tommy Pham.
Again, for Christian Walker, it hasn't worked out for him, but Tommy Pham, he's provided the relief 3 for 3. Can that continue?
And Stratton is looking to put out the fire of Pham, and already it's a full count. So 4 chances to put him away, and now you get a 5th chance here because Pham is now 3 for 3. Looking to make it 4 for 4. Here's the full count throw, and it's a sky, but once again it's a foul ball, and we'll get a 6th opportunity for Stratton.
So I can't say this definitively, but there's been a lot of camera shots for Kelly giving up handshakes. That could be his last inning.
It could be the 8th inning where it's perhaps his last, unless it's the 7th left. Now another full count throw. This is going to go deep for base hit. How about the Wendy special? He's 4 for 4.
Sorry. It took me a little bit, but it got me.
That was a good one, Alec. That's a good job for Tommy Pham. 4 for 4. My goodness.
Yes, it's a base hit to center field. My goodness, he's been really sharp.
And Tommy, see, here's the thing about Tommy Pham. He's a guy that will bounce around.
Yeah.
But people forget that he is a pretty good bat. He's a pretty good bat despite all his traffic.
Despite all the traffic, he's been really good at the plate. And that time for Lourdes Gurriel, he sacrifices himself to move Pham to second on this bunt and gave enough time for Pham to move to second base. Chris Stratton tags Gurriel out on a perfect throw to low, unless, let's see. Oh, this was inches. This may be decided by inches. You know how sports are getting inches? This term is going to be applied here.
I think on the initial first blush that this was picked up there by Stratton and thrown across. And let's see if this is a half a step. Yeah, I think it's in the glove. He's going to be out of first, but that's a good sacrifice nonetheless. I was going to ask you before that, was that a beef brisket taco thing? Because that looked good.
Yeah, I'm already hungry, and I already had dinner hours before. Now 0-1 for Alec Thomas, who doesn't swing at this. Remember how clutch he can be. The D-backs up 4-1, and Thomas is looking to make it 6-1.
Can I just say, it brings me a certain level of joy as a small market guy. I love it watching teams play small ball in the World Series.
Yep, and this is really the perfect definition of small ball with the D-backs emphasizing the speed game. And it's the definition of small balls. When you look at Greg Maddux of the Baseball Hall of Famers, 1-2. Oh, did Thomas go? They're going to say that he did not. He just got out the way of that pitch. It went nearby his shoulder.
As you said, Ian, this is the way that baseball should be played. We'll see if Alec Thomas can come through now.
It's 2-2, down to throw. And this one, off the mask of the umpire on the swing. So, so Thomas is going to stay, but the umpire seems to be shaken up.
Yeah, those are never fun when they get bounced right back off you and double ricochet. He's going to need a moment.
Yeah, Quinn Wolcott is the home plate umpire. So hopefully he's all right. I'm guessing there's a cold timeout. No, it's a full count on ball 3. The change of an 87 and 6 went low. I thought there was a timeout. No, there wasn't.
Well, I'll tell you this. He took that pitch like an absolute boss.
Yeah, he sure did. pace. And Thomas is going to stay for the 8th pitch in this sequence from Chris Stratton. They're really making him work out there. Another full count pitch on the way.
You've had a Walker bat, a Thomas bat, and Gabriel Moreno's done this a couple times. An excellent job to make these pitchers work.
You got over-reliable Emmanuel Longoria on deck next, unless there's a double play, so that's unlikely for runner at second. Hold on a second. Oh, how much longer did this sequence go? We're headed to a 9th pitch here. Hold on, I just saw this stat. The Rangers have had 0 runners in scoring position? No, they have not. Even though they garnered the lone home run, that's the only run they scored. Nobody was in scoring position. This is a masterclass by Merrill Kelly. Another full count pitch. And that time Thomas has punched out. So finally, something the Rangers needed here to get the second out of this 8th inning. 19 pitches into Stratus' day.
Well, I know you don't really celebrate strikeouts, but again, I'll say this: being a bullpen arm, a long time extended at bat, that's good work there for Thomas. Arizona has done a great job of that so far throughout this series.
Really making the Rangers be forced to work for these moments. And it appears that we get a pinch hitter coming up here in the 8th. This will be Pavin Smith, the other DH. He started Game 5 for the NLCS and the Diamondbacks, in which the lone game for Tommy Pham, in which he got benched. Smith coming in place of Longoria, so you'd imagine that Emmanuel Rivera is coming in for the bottom of the 8th.
Yep, you get that defensive change that you talked about. And again, you talk about no runners in scoring position, Ian. Can you believe that, Alec? It's the first strikeout for the staff of the Texas pitchers.
And that's unbelievable. Both stats. The Diamondbacks doing a complete Kelly. This is an outstanding defensive effort, and it should give Kelly a quality start there, right on the books. It appears we're getting a pitching change because Stratton is going to be it's nice going to be done after 2 outs, 1 strikeout. The first by Rangers pitcher on the night, and bring in Martinez.
So it's the first time we get a chance to look at him in the World Series, because last night it was John Gray, and man, he was electric for the Rangers.
John Gray coming back from the IL and picking up where he left off in the regular season.
You look at the rest of the Rangers pitching staff, and I know there isn't a lot to work with because Montgomery went 6, but if you combine this in there, it's an inning and 2/3. They're trying to get out of this 2 innings on this side, but it would be completely scoreless alongside names, again, like Heaney, Dunning, Stratton, and Perez, that they've been pretty good. I know the runs against Heaney weren't charged against it because it was technically for Montgomery, but the bullpen, and I'm not including names like Spores, Chapman, and Leclerc, have not been scored on yet, so you wouldn't have expected that. You also wouldn't have expected Merrill Kelly to do what he's done, alongside Texas only having 1 strikeout, and Texas not having any runners in scoring position. So it's been a game of oddities, but the one that's the same as Game 1, Arizona's got the lead late. We'll see if they can hold it.
Yeah, we'll see if this holds up on Arizona's side. Speaking of oddities, how about this? The Grizzlies now 0-3 on the year. They fall to the Washington Wizards, 113 to 106. Corey Kispert with 22 first half points. Jordan Poole with 27. Kyle Kuzma with 21.
If I'm Memphis and I'm 0-3 and I lose to Washington, I don't care if it's on the road. I go back home at some point. I face a reality check and say this next game's a must-win.
Yeah, I would go with the same road on that, John. And another final score, the Indiana Pacers shocked the Cleveland Cavaliers 125-113. Aaron Smith, 26 off the bench in 30 minutes. Miles Turner, 20. Tyrese Halliburton with 21. And Karis LeVert with 31. Evan Mobley, 33, as Indy overcomes 2 30 bombs from 2 Cavs players.
I believe I saw today that Jimmy Butler was in a load management in Game 3, but that allowed Minnesota to take a 106-90 victory over the Heat as they dropped back-to-back games. They're 1-2.
It can get a little annoying at times, but sometimes some rest days may be what may be needed. Marte Bears wrote first pitch strike there on the right line. Perfect placement for number 54 in the Texas blue and red. So Bears takes a look over at second, now delivers. And this one out of Jonah High. Is Pham going to go? No, he's not. He's going to stay put at second base. He's not going to use those wheels, make it a 1-1 count.
Yeah, I think after what happened in the last time he was at second base, he's going to not entertain any of those thoughts.
No, I would wonder because, man, just some bad memories. But so far, he's putting those bad memories behind as he is 4 for 4. Now, Emmanuel Rivera at the plate, and holy, just nearly hit Rivera, but just avoided the hit by pitch. 2-1, the count though. So we look over the Heat and T-Wolves, 106-90 was the score, and Nas Reed, 25 off the bench in 28 minutes. So the 2-1 pitch awaiting for us. Now here it comes. And this one too high. Sinker at 93. So see if Bears can get the final out of this 8th inning. They'll see what the decision is for tonight.
I see Kevin Ginkel in the bullpen.
Ginkel, one of the better relievers for the D-backs as Bears delivers. And a big swing and miss offered at this changeup going at the bottom portion of the zone. And it was a good try by Rivera, but just got to time that one better. Now it's a full count situation with 2 outs. Bears still looking to get the final out of this 8th inning. Now to throw. And this one just outside. Rivera goes to first base. And now you have Alec Perdomo.
Well, Rivera and his shiny platinum chains can go ahead and walk right to first base. That was blinding my eyes.
It really was. You can know that it is him by the chains over the neck and those blinding chains. But now here comes Perdomo. He and his sack bunts left and right, but he can't afford a sack bunt here as the D-backs have 2 outs. First pitch strike for Bears at the bottom part. No offer from Perdomo.
Okay, can I just say, Rivera can be dead. When he's out in that batter's box, he's got the crazy eyes.
It's just like that 0-2 with Perdomo, but crazy eyes. I mean, sometimes eyesight can go crazy between left, right, up, down. Who's going to be at the mound? But some of these jerseys I'm seeing on the Rangers side, some of the throwbacks I'm seeing, just as this is blasted from Perdomo, but it's foul to his right. So he's going to stay put for Bears as 10th throw.
Let's see if Geraldo Perdomo can go through. He's done his job, sacrificed bunts, stolen bases in back-to-back World Series games. I'd like to see him get a hit. He deserves it.
I would love to see this. It's for Perdomo too, John. Just as Bears is surveying and throws a sinker ball, it's just outside right. So opportunity to put Perdomo out. No can do there. Make it a 1-2 count. So now out go Rivera and Pham out from first and second in the anticipation and perhaps to get some runs if Perdomo hits it. Now here's the 1-2. No offer from him as this was a breaking ball. Change him at 85. So 3 opportunities for Perdomo out. Gonna capitalize.
Well, again, the Arizona Diamondbacks, no matter where they are in the order, they're forcing the Texas Rangers bullpen to extend a little bit.
And just really doing their job there. Now here's the 2-2. Uh-oh. Now he spells trouble. Now it's a full count after an 0-2 count start.
And meanwhile, to John's point, you have Merrill Kelly going 7.
Oof. Oh my word. And Rangers fans are not happy with the call. They thought it was a strike, but this was clearly outside. I feel the upset point maybe for the wrong reasons. Here's the full count throw. Uh-oh. Broken, no, not a broken bat, but after an 0-2 count, it is now bases loaded.
Wow. What an at-bat for Perdomo, able to stay alive again. He worked his way on base the hard way, and now you got the NLCS MVP up to the plate.
Tell Marte. I know this is for the other one. I don't know where he is now, but it might be a Marte parte if he gets a hit.
They'll be celebrating at Chase Field inside that pool.
Yeah, 17-game postseason hit streak. That is no joke and nothing to scoff at. And if you're Martin Perez, you have to pay full attention to it because he can point at that jersey when he feels like he is hot, and he can get hit hot at any time. So Mount Meany has been used up by Bruce Bochy in the meantime. No pitching change in this situation.
Well, Alec, I'm not going to say it's a surprise or not, but if you wanted to get Aroldis Chapman ready for this moment, he should have already been ready. So Martin Perez, this is going to be a big leverage point in this game. This could very well decide who wins game 2 right here.
Yeah, it can decide that very much between this and everything. So Marte, up in MLB history, longest hit streak in postseason history. He's 0 for 4. 17 straight games entering tonight. He's up there with Hank Bauer, Derek Jeter, and Manny Ramirez. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Sinker at 92. He wanted to extend that to 18. Guess he's going to have to wait a little longer. The MVP and the NLCS now on 1-1. And this is going to split the gap. 18, here he comes. And this will score Pham. And Rivera, 6-1, Arizona. Have yourself a postseason streak for the ages. Bad world.
And he is now the sole owner of the longest postseason hit streak in MLB history. Let's just stop and think about that for a second.
Not to mention, he's had to deal with some very bad baseball. Again, he had to play in the outfield when the team wasn't very good. That's not even his position. He gets his first chance to shine in the postseason, and I got to believe he's soaking up every moment. When he won that NLCS MVP, you could see the tears in his eyes. I feel very good for Ketel Marte here. He's going to help give his team a big win, most likely.
And Corbin Carroll, this was Corbin almost over the right field side, a base hit with runners at the corners, and the runs keep on going. Martin Perez has been, oh my goodness.
He just got ejected from the sports car here. He's giving it up right now. Maybe you have to wear the rest of the collar now, but really, if you're Bruce Bochy, who do you turn to at this point? This game's likely done.
You got to put yourself somewhere because this is really getting ugly here. Between Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, these two were due for it. Now you're faced up against Gabriel Moreno, who had a solo shot to begin with, just as Perez curves one over right inside. He's been shellacked for 3 runs in this inning. In a 2-out situation. So 0-1 on the count. Now this second one. And Moreno fouls it over to the right. So 0-2 now. It's really not been a good outing for Martin Perez. So 0-2 and a chance to put away Moreno, but he's been in these situations a lot in which he has not been able to put away batters with 2 strikes. Final third of the top of the 8th. We're going to take it to the bottom, but the damage has already been done. And this one, on the top line, finally, Perez gets what he wants, but the damage already done. The lead going from 4-1 to 7-1. Home field disadvantage might be paying off here.
Here's the thing now, and we can leave this to both of you, Alec and Ian. I mentioned Kevin Ginkel was getting warm for Torey Lovullo's squad in the Diamondbacks. Now you got a big lead. Do you want to go ahead with Luis Frias or somebody else at this point to give that extra rest?
Yeah, I'd say rest Ginkel at this point because now you change up your game plan. Remember, what the Rangers did in ALCS Game 6 after Mitch Garver had after Adolis Garcia had the Grand Slam, this is going to change up their game plan significantly. Between Aroldis Chapman, Jose Leclerc, you go from Leclerc to Andrew Heaney in the night, but now you can change it up. You can go to Luis Frias in that regard, or Andrew Salfrank. Get your others involved. Don't let your best guys out there, because this has gone to a situation where it's no longer a safe situation for Paul Sewell.
I'll take it a step further too, because I completely agree. What happens if Corey Seager doesn't hit that 2-run shot and Adolis Garcia doesn't win? We would be talking about the narrative that Arizona could be up 2-0 in this series. I honestly thought Arizona played the better game than Texas did in Game 1, if not for a couple of chances that were very, very clutch. This is 2 games in a row now where Arizona has been able to get sacrifice hits, move runners over, and come through when they've needed to. In fact, this is the 3rd time that they've scored 3 runs in an inning in the last 2 games.
And that's absolutely incredible for the D-backs. And going through and pulling off this history, especially with Marte, 18 straight games of a hit, the most in a single postseason run ever. That's amazing here. You think of all these guys that will pull off postseason hitting streaks. You immediately think of Derek Jeter, David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, all those guys that are mentioned. Jose Altuve, we're talking about active players today. If you want to go back further in history, Babe Ruth, Alex Rodriguez, Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols. All those names you think of pulling a clutch moment after clutch moment.
And you're going to have Ketel, Marte in that same sentence. How beautiful is that?
It's very beautiful. If the D-backs keep this up, perhaps we can see them being a perennial contender in many years to come, because this team really showing themselves to be a complete team now. Just as Andrew Salfrank, he's coming out for the 8th inning. So as is mentioned, Merrill Kelly's night is done. Have yourself a night, Merrill. 7 innings, just allowing 1 run, but 3 hits. Wow. Salfrank comes in 8 games this postseason after he played just 10 regular season games. This rookie has been coming up electric. Already 1-1 in the count. And Emmanuel Rivera fouls it to the left on the secret 90. I want to get to this NBA score. The Philadelphia 76ers. These 2 guys go on beating Tyrese Maxey 34 each as they prevail over the Toronto Raptors 114-107. Now 1-2. Right onto the hands of Ketel Marte. And his night continues on. Just a simple toss to Christian Walker. Greg and Tate Olson in attendance. And so is Dirk Nowitzki. What is it you want to say, Ian?
Well, actually, you know what? Actually, I'll wait till the commercial break because it's something that I think should be noted.
All right, so I'll wait until you get that note there. And now Josh Jung at the bat takes this one outside, bottom left corner. So 1 for 2 is Jung, base hit in the 5th, batting .308 this postseason, and up against the rookie, Salfrank. So rookie versus rookie. Salfrank throws a breaking ball 91 that time.
Just want to make a quick mention, Alec, on this side. You're talking about Salfrank. Walks have really come back to bite him. You can't do this in a 7-1 game. You got to walk in and make sure you get the easy outs.
You have to do so in these situations, and immediately it's going to be a ground out for Jung. He gets it over to Emmanuel Rivera with a cannon of an arm. to Christian Walker. 2 up, 2 down.
Yep, that's the thing about Emmanuel Rivera. He has a cannon for an arm. Multiple times when he was in Kansas City, it looked like the runner was going to make it to first, but he was just shooting over there.
I've seen this a lot of times with a rookie that I like to see over Pittsburgh, Henry Davis, who plays right field just as Lourdes doesn't get a call his way and look to be outside to the left of the zone, but they called it against him. 0-1. Now here's another throw and another friendly call for Andrew Selfrank. 0-2 with 2 outs on Lourdes.
Well, our last broadcast about 4 hours. We might finish this one under 3 because Merrill Kelly was just that good.
It's the Merrill Kelly experience for him to go 7 innings and just allow 1 run. And I know the Rangers, they may be down 7-1, but I want to point to another Rangers team, the New York Rangers, who are up 1-0 on the Vancouver Canucks, thanks to a power play goal from the bread man himself, Artemi Panarin. 1-0. 2-2 is the count after that sinker that goes outside. That's back-to-back throws to the outside left for Selfrank. 2-2 with 2 outs for Tavares. Now here's the third one. This is going to ground over to Fandomo. And just as simple as it can get, wants to throw on time. Yes! And out of the Fandomo. And a tries to Christian Walker as Walker died for the catch. And now both teams down to the last 3.
So it's a 7-1 lead for Arizona. Go ahead and make your point, Ian.
All right. So, hang on a second. We may get a challenge here. Oh, we are getting a challenge from Bruce Bochy. They are challenging the call. And Fandomo dove, and Walker dove as well. Was the foot on the base? That is the question.
Yeah, that is the question. I got the initial look at it. He had to dive over to the right field side to go ahead and grab that. Trying to keep his left foot on the bag. I think it looks like it should stand. I think he's out.
Yeah, it looks like he just left the foot.
It's close, but I think it's on the bag.
Close. And I get the argument that Bochy is trying to make because this is really close, but as Walker could have easily left his foot up, but they're going to say that the call is going to stand and that Walker has his foot just at first base. Great catch, great throw.
Yeah, Bochy's got to use it anyway because his team would have been down to 3 outs and they're already getting blown out, so you don't lose anything by losing that challenge.
And you don't lose anything now. Are you any points that Ian was going to make? What about what you're going to say?
All right. So for those who are listening to the broadcast who might not be familiar with how the World Series is formatted, the team that has the best record, they play 2 games in that stadium. Now here's how the format goes. It's 2 games in one stadium, 3 games in the other one, and then the final 2 games go back to the team with the best record. Now, in a conventional sense, or in an ideal sense, that would give the advantage to the team with the best record. It usually does. However, if the other team happens to win a road game within the first 2 games, fellas, the Diamondbacks have the next 3 games at home, and that Diamondbacks crowd is starving for that World Series glory. That means the Rangers are going to have to win one of those games to stay alive. At least one. Which means you'll have to face the Diamondbacks in their stadium 3 times.
I know where you're going with this, Ian, because if you go from the last side for the LCS, what happened with the Houston Astros when they were in Texas? they slapped around Texas pretty good. And the way that Arizona's played the first two games in Texas, again, I tried to argue this. I felt like they've been the better team in both games. So if they can continue to do some of the same things that they've done in Texas and bring it to their home ballpark, and I know a lot of that's going to extend to Brandon Pfaadt as well against Max Scherzer. But make no mistake about it, they'll be doing themselves a big time service. And if they can continue to do this, they might take at least two of the next three in their home ballpark.
It's been it's a postseason full of chaos in and about, and home field advantage. I almost said home ice advantage because I'm thinking of hockey. But home field advantage really hasn't been the case this postseason because if you've seen the wild card teams have pulled through the majority of the time.
Yeah.
The Rangers pulled off 2 wins on the Rays at the Trop, and the D-backs at American Family Field stalling the Brewers, and then you have the Phillies being the only wildcard team to defend home field in the wildcard and divisional rounds, 6-0 before the D-backs came along.
So we're going to be going to the ninth. Again, I'll be thinking about what Ian just brought up there alongside what Alec just laid out there as far as what's in front of you. These two wildcard teams, they've been doing the most of the damage, and as you just said, in between the Brewers, you swept the Brewers, you swept the Dodgers, you played a Game 7 to a Phillies team that was expected to go back to the World Series, and now you're handling the best lineup in all of baseball, and you've scored multiple runs. You scored 5 in the first game and 7 in the second game. You kind of look like Texas has as far as scoring some runs without your best hitter doing a damn thing. He's 0 for 4 in this game as Christian Walker is 1 and 2 against it.
And Christian Walker, he's looking for one here to add to damage, and he wants a turnaround here and about.
So Martin Perez, as he said, with the scoreline where it is, he might just have to eat it for the rest of this game. Christian Walker, that's got to feel good. He's finally got a base hit.
Eureka! Finally, he has to feel good about this one because even though the game is out of reach, you figured that he's due for something here. And he gets his wish.
He gets a pitch right down the middle. It's a little bit of a meatball there from Perez, but it doesn't matter for Walker. He's going to go ahead and take it again, a 7 spot for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So they scored 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. Anything that they have, as long as you get that embrace the chaos moniker, they've lived up to their name regardless if they're back against the wall or not. So Peterson is the new bat. He will take a ball down low, 1-0.
So it's Jace Peterson, the pinch hitter for the D-backs. He's filling it on that spot. You'd wonder about the spot for Emmanuel Rivera or Tommy Pham. So he's going to fill him at the DH spot in for Tommy Pham because Pham has been outstanding. So previously Peterson has been 0 for 1 in the postseason. So how this game has went, it's all right that you take Tommy Pham out of this game. He's been a perfect 4 for 4.
I guess Troy Lovullo wanted to do Tommy Pham a favor so he could have 1,000 next to his batting average. 1-1 as Peterson will take a curveball down low, make it 2-1. Again, we'll just give you a little bit of the scoring reset. As far as what we had, Ketel Marte single to center. Of late, it scored Pham and Rivera. Perdomo moved to second, and Corbin Carroll responded in kind. Really, the only movement from Troy Lovullo's squad is movement in between Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte. You can inter-slot swap them between 1 and 2. It's kind of what they did today. They moved Ketel Marte to the top of the order, had just 1 hit, but he extended his post-game hitting streak to the most of all time. Corbin Carroll then continued, and then you had Tommy Pham going 4 for 4, and then you're continuing to also steal bases and move runners over. It's Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. What's not lost in all of it is Merrill Kelly throwing 7 innings, giving up just 1 earned run, 3 hits, and recording 9 strikeouts. And Martin Perez finally records the 2nd strikeout for Rangers pitching, but only just 1 for Chris Stratton. Jordan Montgomery was settled for 4 runs against on 9 hits and 6 innings. So Peterson, off the hop, this is going to be a tough turn. They only get the lead runner at second in Walker.
So, but fielder's choice, because there's not enough time for a double play. not much is going to matter the rest of the way given the score line. And for the second straight game, the D-backs have really looked like the better team throughout. I don't care what the final score says for game one. The D-backs, they sort of ran out of gas in the final innings, but they look like the better team throughout that game.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that point, not to disparage anything on the Texas side, and none of us are doing that. But it really took that type of clutch hit from Corey Seager. And look, I understand if you're Paul Sewald, it's going to happen sometimes. You're going to blow a save. You can't be perfect forever. But the way that Arizona has been able to construct their offense and score runs when they needed to, that's shown through in the first two games. We can't say that enough. As this is an 0-1 count. Lourdes Gurriel, man, he hammered one left field line, but it's foul. Make it 0-2.
So in this game, we've seen a lot of what they've done. A lot of storm. So we've seen storm bases of points, even though Tommy Pham, he was caught out. That was the only mistake he made, but otherwise he has been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's been the brand of Arizona Diamondbacks baseball that they've been looking at.
Gurriel will put this one into center field. It's a shallow fly ball, and Tavares was playing so deep, it's going to end up being a base hit. So Arizona's got two runners on. They want to get a little more greedy. It's 7-1 still.
If the damage is still not done by this point, they may have to say or two about it.
Feel good for Alec Thomas as he's the one coming up next. He's already got two base hits in this game as well. The box score looks one-sided. It's 7 runs on 15 hits for the Diamondbacks, just 1 run and 3 hits for the Texas Rangers. And because of the score line, Arizona has not had to use their best bullpen arms, so we didn't have to see Thompson or Ginkel or on the other side for the closer and Paul Sewald. They'll get some extra rest on a Monday. Maybe they'll spend some time in the Chase Field pool. That's where we'll be for games 3 and 4. Alec and I will be on the call. Game 5, we're both going to miss. This is over to first. It'll work as a sacrifice to sorts. Move runners to second and third.
In between game now and game 3, I'll have coverage of the Heritage Classic on that front between the Flames and Oilers. I'm foregoing the NFL for this week because of the Heritage Classic. An outdoor game, and I don't want to miss outdoor games.
Do we dare have a prediction for the Heritage Classic? I said 2-10-2 or 3-10-2 for the two teams. Do you have a scoring prediction at all of who's going to win?
This feels like the type of game that may be a high-scoring game because of the situation with the goaltenders, unless the Flames go Jacob Markstrom. If it's Markstrom, I can see this as a Flames win. If it's Vladar, I think this one's going up in the air.
I'll go with a Flames win. I'll say, man, it seems like I'm spotting the Oilers a lot of goals, but I'll go 4-3 Flames.
Yeah, I would go with that too. Oh my goodness, what am I seeing?
2-1 is the count. Alec Vision is a little bit ahead of me on this as we get set to close the ninth. We feel like this game's going to be over. Is Emmanuel Rivera going to do something special with those platinum chains? 2-1 against Perez. This is a base hit. This is going to score a run. They're waving him home. Throw to the plate gets cut off. And Arizona scores the extra run, but looks like we're going to play the run game on second base. Another runner gets tagged out. But Arizona adds another 9-1 going to the bottom ninth.
Make that 2.
Yeah, 9-1. That's what we noted. The 2 runs at the bottom at the top of the ninth as we head to the bottom of the ninth. And for whatever reason, 16 hits for the D-backs as opposed to the Rangers 3. You'd think the opposite would happen on most other nights, but it feels like the Rangers' power of hitting bats and balls right out for the stands seems to have been transferred to the D-backs, but the D-backs are just playing their brand of baseball.
Yeah, they've done it better. They've done it better, even though it's going to end up being a series split. I do think Texas is fortunate to walk away from this thing 1-1. And again, I can say this now, this game's effectively over unless Saul Frank absolutely lays a dud. It's a 9-1 lead. It's got mop-up duty at this point. But Merrill Kelly, again, he's been the star of the night for as much as Arizona has scored. 7 innings, just 3 hits. The one run was a solo shot from Mitch Garver. And I know Ian was shocked at this, but again, it's correct. No runners in scoring position for the Texas Rangers all night because it was just runners at first at the most part from an Evan Carter single and then a Carter or a Garver bomb. And that's all that we got. Again, 16 hits for Arizona. It feels like a lot, and it is, but it's also the same way that they've been able to manufacture everything. They're just going to find a way, I would assume, if they can keep this up for the rest of the series, to get themselves 7 or 8 hits every game because they play small ball. They do it to perfection. They draw walks. They can get key home runs, and they move runners over. They play baseball the way it's supposed to be played. And this is really a master class of playoff baseball so far. You can see why they're in the World Series.
Yeah, I posted something in the Jumbotron. John Blake's correct. This is the best Halloween.
Hold on a second. Hopefully this doesn't kick me out of the Twitter space. I have to click on this. What the heck is that?
Yeah, he win.
Is it supposed to be him as Randy Johnson?
Unit.
But he looks like he's with a high school girl or something like that. Marcus Simeon digs into the dish. Again, this is a time where he hasn't been that great throughout this World Series. Those numbers have been noted. But Simeon gets a chance to get one of the left field line hooking. This is foul.
Between this and the 0-1 Diamondbacks will forever edge themselves into immortality between Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, Steve Finley, and one guy who's now a manager on the present day, even though he's not more known as an MLB player, but more as an MLB manager. Craig Counsell was on that Diamondbacks roster in 0-1.
That's what I was trying to remember. I knew there was a familiar face.
Yep. He actually spent 2 stints with the Brewers, one in 04 and the other from 07 to 11.
Well, it's not often, I'll tell you this, a 9-1 scoreline, it turned into a really good baseball game, but it really has been, honestly. I know the scoreline's gotten away, but it's just for the late runs that we've had. And from the 7th and the 8th and the 9th, 2-3-2, Arizona's kind of pasted on the back end side of it. It was a lot closer at that point. Simeon does get a base hit, so he does find one in game 1. He does find one in game 2. But he's got to be able to string them together when they go to Chase Field on Monday.
Yeah, you really got to get things together when you get over on the road to Chase Field, especially with that pull. You got to wait on the moment because if you manage to get something off at Chase Field, then perhaps you can get yourselves a dive at that pool. But so far, nobody has earned themselves a dive on the Chase Field pool.
Not on the Texas side, that's for sure. Corey Seager with a lift. Alec Thomas gets on his horse. He makes a nice running catch.
Nice speed there for Alec Thomas and continuing to shut down the Rangers lineup left and right, limiting them to just 4 hits. And not often in a blowout game would you think that this would be a good baseball game because this has mostly been close. And that has been the case for the first 7 innings. It was close until it wasn't anymore in the 8th. This was the same scenario as Game 6 of the ALCS before the Garcia Grand Slam.
Yeah, and it kind of felt the same way from the Game 1 side. And for Luis Frias, he's going to get an opportunity. It's not going to matter. He's not going to get the same side-handedness because Robbie Grossen is a switchback. But we'll make the change. It looks academic, but we got 2 more outs left. Be right back.
So for the moment, as we look into another NBA score, as of right now, the Suns are up 57-45 on the Jazz. They're at the tail end of the first half, but so far the Phoenix Suns, they're bouncing back from what was a really bad fourth quarter against the LA Lakers, where they had 8 or 9 turnovers in that fourth quarter alone and were outscored 28-11, where LeBron James did what he does best, taking over in the fourth quarter.
So everything else besides that has gone final. We kind of gone through all these score lines. As Alex said, the Sixers get a win over the Raptors, 114-107. Pacers is surprising 2-0 as they get the win over the Cavs, 125-113. I'm just going to look at the Pacers score line here, make sure I don't miss any 50 spots like I did with Zach LaVine. But Caris LeVert is 31 for the Cavs, 33 for Evan Mobley. And yet, the Cavs still lose behind 21 from Halliburton and 20 from Miles Turner, 26 off the bench from Aaron Nesmith. So good balanced scoring for Rick Carlisle's squad.
My biggest concern with the Cavs is the bench, because we've seen their starting five being the big part of the production. But after that, the bench is my biggest concern. Normally, you would have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell as your starting backcourt, and Max Strus is supposed to deepen that bench. And Strus, he actually got the nod at the starting five because both Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland were not playing.
Yeah, that will be something they have to watch out for, because for the Cleveland Cavaliers, again, I know no Donovan Mitchell at this point, but in a sense, you bring everybody in alongside Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and you have thoughts on a young team going forward that they're going to make strides into the postseason. We'll see if they can do that, because that's the plan. Not only do they want to make a deep postseason run, they want to try to play for something tangible. Again, this has been the best team that Cleveland's had since LeBron James being there, and I know that they have their sights set high, and I think they can do it. So mop-up duty, sometimes that's the case. Luis Frias, all he has got to do is get the final 2 outs. He's got the dreads, he's got the gold chains, he's got the look. Robbie Grossman on the other side, he is the pinch hitter here for Bruce Bochy's squad. Again, for Bruce Bochy, you could never tell if he was down by 30 runs or winning by that many. His even keel stays the same.
It feels like it's a coin flip for whenever you have a Bruce Bochy team, because in between those, he's going to either win a World Series or he's going to miss the playoffs. That's how it goes sometimes for Bruce Bochy. But whenever he's at the World Series, he's going to win most of them. Won 3 of them with Sam Brad off of his ace, Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah, we can't mention that alongside Ian, and we also can't mention the Giants alongside me with Pablo Sandoval. I still get nightmares. But Bruce Bochy is part of all of that, and he's the master class, as Robbie Grossman makes it 1-2 off a foul ball.
Yeah, between Bumgarner, Sandoval, Brandon Belt, who was part of that championship team, is now in Toronto now. Buster Posey, too. Let's not forget.
An absolute Hall of Famer, and if Gabby Moreno can do some of the same things, hell, he's going to have a long career alongside Jonah Heim for Texas. That's a good curveball there for Frias, and Grossman's going to have to sit down. Texas mercifully down to their final out. Adolis Garcia, if he wants to keep his home run streak going, it's now or never.
Now or never for him. But 5 straight games of a home run, nothing to scoff at. And even though if this is the last at-bat for Adolis Garcia, if he hits one now, this streak is really a respectable one.
I was just going to say something about Frias. You might not want to make sure you don't pitch inside or attempt to hit Garcia, because then maybe he'll carry over some of the animosity into Monday. Might just want to leave that down the middle of the plate. Nobody was there back at first. Simeon thought about stealing, but we'll do it again 1-0.
Simeon was way out, but so was Christian Walker. And Frias saw this, threw over to Walker to try and tag out Simeon. I think it's a strategy that Torey Lovullo wants his infielders to go with to close out this game.
I know they were just making the remark on the Fox Sports side. At least when Frias turned around to make a throw, because they could have got Simeon, most people would not look and throw to first. At least he took an extra beat, saw where Walker was, because he could have threw that into the outfield or even in the dugout. It's 1-1. Bottom 9, 2 outs. Arizona trying to even up this series. Quite frankly, as Ian brought this up, they've done their job at this point. As 97 up high, make it 2-1. Defensive indifference. That's going to give Marcus Semien second base. But Frias will take an extra step now and take his beat and grab the rosin bag. And for the Texas Rangers, even though you got beat down pretty good, you still had split. All you got to do is win the next two games, you would think. Inside again, it's 3-1 against Garcia.
And unrelated news, the Kings get the first goal against the Knights from rookie Alex Lafreniere, assisted by P.L. Dubois.
That'll be the night game I'll be watching as this story gets typed up, but it's not done yet. Luis Garcia draws the walk, and it leaves it up to Mitch Garver. He's got the only run for Texas in this game so far, courtesy of a solo shot.
So this may be the end of the home run streak for Luis Garcia, but since I'll have to give my applause to it.
Yeah, he's been remarkable alongside Ketel Marte. Both the NLCS and ALCS MVPs, respectively, have continued to carry their teams for long stretches. I mean, you guys are playing back to back. Sometimes you get a day off, you mix in 2 games, 3 games there. It's really easy against primetime pitchers to get into a cold streak, but not those two. It's 1-0 against Garver. Another pitch for Frias misses. Don't want to start playing with your food here. It's 2-0.
Yeah, because miracles can happen, but those are slim to none in these games here. So remember about the comeback by the Seattle Mariners on the Toronto Blue Jays, down 8-1. And then there was the New York Mets and the Washington Nationals. The Nationals down 10-4 in the ninth. The Nats won.
That's exactly what they're meeting on the mound for right now. Again, walk, base hit situation, 2-0 count, 2 outs. Arizona's not in any sort of danger just yet, but you get a few more runs on the board here. All of a sudden, that could turn into a big-time home run and turn the game around. So lock it down here. That's what Arizona wants. No danger just yet, but there's runners at first and second with 2 outs. They're trying to get the final out here and go back to Chase Field in Arizona. So Frias, he's the one to get it done. Torey Lovullo hasn't used any major arms in this game. Obligatory take at 97, make it 2-1.
Of how the game has gone, the big 8th inning there that changed Torey Lovullo's game plan entirely to have his best arms completely well rested and ready for game 3 should they be relied on.
Texas down to their final strike. Big swing and a miss on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone. And you're right there, Alec. You can use that extra rest into Monday. Get the whole situation in 7, 8, and 9 of your order, your top relievers, all well rested, into a tie, essentially. It's anybody's series. 2-2. Garver laces it over to the third base side, caught by Rivera, and this series is tied. The Diamondbacks take a convincing 9-1 victory.
You wouldn't believe that scoreline based on how the game was played. And I can't believe my very eyes on how I'm seeing this. Because this was very close. And Merrill Kelly getting the win. Of course, a well-deserved victory as Jordan Montgomery gets his first loss of this postseason. But 16 hits. 16 for the D-backs to the Rangers 4. You would think that any other night that would be flip-flopped around in favor of the Rangers. But it feels like I'm just seeing the Rangers' powers getting transferred right to the D-backs in real time. Just we see many Rangers fans walking out of the stadium. And I about the game is gone. I would be just as in disbelief as they are because of this game, especially in the 8th inning forward.
It's good to see a lot of Diamondbacks fans that have made the travel over there from Arlington. And they were seen to a well-played game. Quite frankly, 2 well-played games. I want to lead into this for Game 3. I know we're going to have to wait until Monday, but this is the most exciting upcoming pitching matchup to me, and I don't know which way to lean. Brandon Pfaadt was absolutely excellent his last time out, but this is Scherzer's 3rd start upcoming on the Monday side, coming back from injury. Diamondbacks get a big win today, win 9-1, even this series. But game 3, that's the decider there as far as who takes the lead. I think Pham's more than capable. And if Arizona can continue to play the way that they have been, who's to say they can't do the same thing to Scherzer?
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen in the postseason, but in most cases, the postseason is about pitching. And I would say Pham would have the advantage based on how he has played, but Scherzer is going to have himself a proven game to show that he is not all that rusty coming back from injury. Just remember, he didn't get out the third inning in Game 7 of the ALCS. And Jordan Montgomery came in relief of him, as rare as that sounds. But yes, starting pitchers coming in relief because in a Game 7 scenario, anyone is available except for the Game 6 starter. It's those situations. Here, it's in a situation akin to Game 3 of the ALCS, where you would want to normally use a reliever. You're leaving your starting pitchers aside for situations when they're slated to start. So that means Nava, Jordan Montgomery, and whoever will be the Game 4 starter, because I imagine that's going to be a bullpen game throughout. But you have to see how long Scherzer can go.
Before we close everything out and I get to the game story again, just want to make a shout out again for Merrill Kelly, who's the 3-1 in the postseason. Dominant 7 innings, giving up just 3 hits, 1 earned run on a solo shot from Mitch Garver, and 9 strikeouts. It's a sparkling outing, and I know it takes a long time before we talk about history books, but this was definitely one, as Arizona has moved to tie this series at Chase Field in the 2-3-2 format, as Zine brought up. Games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll be back with you on the 8:03 Eastern side on Monday, and we'll see which way this goes. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. We'll be back on the Monday side.
Yes, sir.
Good night, everyone.